applause for Isabel. And please join me now in giving a warm Red Sox welcome to your
Good afternoon and welcome, Red Sox fans, to Arnold Anderson Stadium in lovely Brantford, Ontario for another edition of Sunday afternoon baseball in the Canadian Baseball League as the visiting Welland Jackfish, the defending CBL champions, take on your Brantford Red Sox in a ball game between two teams that are finding their footing after some rough starts here to the 2026 season, at least relative to expectations, you could say, for Welland. A great team as always. They're always a great squad. They bring their full roster every single time they come to the ballpark, and they are going to be a tough task for the Red Sox today. Remember, the last time in this head-to-head series, the Red Sox snapped a 30-game head-to-head losing skid against this team. Welland has had Brantford's number for a long time, but Brantford got one back here at home in this ballpark just a few weeks ago. Hi, everybody. Marshall Crocker, voice of the Brantford Red Sox and director of broadcast media, joined alongside the man himself, former umpire, former bench boss, man who's been everywhere around baseball, and a gentleman who did an excellent job calling yesterday's game against Kitchener. A big win. Mr. Brian Hawley joins me again. First of all, Brian, well, the good luck charm can't be ignored any longer. You seem to just get a win every single game you call play-by-play at home. It's something we're going to have to look into for the future because I want this team to make the playoffs, maybe more than I want to be the man on the call. But what I can tell you is yesterday was a great win, a great get back for the Brantford Red Sox, and the score may surprise people who have seen the last run of games where it's 10 for both sides. Pretty much every game Brantford goes win or lose. Yesterday, low-scoring game. They get the win versus Kitchener. What was it yesterday that you noticed kind of summed that game up for us, and how may it inform today's contest?
I tell you what, I can sum it up in one word: strikes. Both pitchers came out and they threw strikes. Friday night, I was there in Kitchener at Couch, and when there's 33 runs being scored, there Brantford side alone, 11 walks, 4 hit batsmen, 4 errors made by Brantford. Last night, 3 walks, one hit batsman, and only 1 error made. And all of a sudden, boom! Instead of giving up 18, you're giving up 3 runs. And so that Kitchener team is not a team that hits a lot of home runs. They got a couple of guys like Big Malik Williams in the middle that do hit home runs, but they're more of a station-to-station run. They love to run a lot of small ball, but when you throw strikes and play good defense, you end up having a good game defensively.
Well, struck and play by Daiki Abe, today's first hitter through the infield. Very first pitch today from Connor Irvin. Sent back pass by number 6. A member of the All-Star team here in the South Side for 2026. Daiki Abe opens it up for the Jackfish with a grounder right back up the middle.
So you're right at it right away here. For the first pitch goes up the middle, and then, of course, anybody who knows the Welland Jackfish, you talk about a team that runs. I mean, Kitchener is a team that runs, but this is a team that has mastered it. They will steal 100 bases over the course of 20 games, this team. So don't be surprised if Abe goes in the first or second pitch of this at-bat.
Well, we came in hot. We came in right after the anthem, so we're right into the action. Here's Jonah Weisner, the 2-man in today's lineup. Chose bunt. Won't bunt. The pickoff attempted. They got him. Got Abe in time. 17 steals coming into today's ball game. That number will go no higher for the moment. What a throw by today's catcher, Cassidy Watt.
Well, a great throw by Cassidy, but as well, credit goes to the pitcher, Connor Irvin, who slide-stepped and got the ball in there real quick, got a fastball, good pitch to throw on, and just a right-on-the-money throw. Nice tag by Jacob Cantor.
A pitch put right down the middle. Weisner sends it right up to the second baseman. It's Bateman. Gets it there in time to today's first baseman, Christian Kazemka. A little bit of a different defensive look here today for the Red Sox. The infield, it's going to be Kazemka on first. Bateman's back at second. On the hot corner, it's Chris Ortega, new all-star starter. And back at shortstop, just as he was yesterday. Welcome back to the 6th spot, Jacob Cantor. Awesome to see him after his arm recovery. He is back in the all-important shortstop position. Ian Antone, Holgren, and Black, your outfield. That first pitch right down the middle, sent out high. Ethan Mann back to left center. It's going to the fence. It's over the fence. The Welland Jackfish on the board in the first inning. Ethan Mann, the first pitch he sees, he sends it skyward. The Jackfish open the scoring here in Brantford.
Well, that was a bit of a mistake pitch, a hanger there by Connor Irvin, and Ethan Mann made no mistake. It is a real chore to get one out of this ballpark, especially in left center. And it's an equally difficult chore to get one over the head of Walker Hultgren, who has just been playing some fantastic center field for the Red Sox since its arrival last month.
Here's James Smybert just a few moments after the home run. First pitch just a little bit low. First ball of the day here for Connor Irvin, today's starter. That was the 5th homer of the season for number 15, Ethan Mann.
And James Smarbert's been on a nice little run here.
That one's in for strike one. You talk about all the proliferation of strikes yesterday, really pounding the zone. That's what Connor Irvin wants to do. Good or for bad, he is going to put challenge pitches in there. We'll see what Welland can do with them. That ball struck way foul over the head of the first base grandstand here.
And that's a good spot to put that pitch. That's about all James Smyber could do with that pitch was to yank it foul.
1-2 versus Smyber. One pitch could end the inning. A little bit low, bounces off the ground, nicely blocked by Watt, and Cass back behind the dish here today after rotating around defensively here for a little bit. It's going to be Savage back to designated hit today after he's caught on defense a number of games consecutively. Here's the 2-2.
Sorry.
That ball struck. Shallow into right center. Might be playable for Bateman, the second baseman. Underneath it and sliding to make the grab. Welcome back to second base number 33. Lucas Bateman ranging behind him. Slides into it, looking backwards to make the grab.
Wow, what a circus catch that was. Unbelievable. That was Willie Mays style there, sliding, catching the ball. No more difficult play as a defensive player to catch a pop fly over top of your head. But Bateman really vacuumed that up and hung on because there was no way that Brody Black was going to be able to get in and make a play on that one.
Well, as we swap it over, the Brantford Red Sox offense going to make their first appearance of the day, third appearance in 3 consecutive days. Of course, the home and home against Kitchener leading into tonight, looking to make it 2 in a row after yesterday's big, and as we pointed out, low-scoring win there against Kitchener. It's going to be Yoelan Quinonez, the man on the mound today for the Welland Jackfish. Here's your offensive lineup here for the Brantford Red Sox. Cantor, of course, still the leadoff man. Brody Black. Chris Ortega is going to jump up in that 3 spot to sub in for Tim Holick, still dealing with a groin injury as he gets ready for All-Star Weekend. Andrew Savage going to DH today. Nick Iannantone back in the starting lineup. Christian Kazemka at the 6. Today's catcher Cassidy Watt before Walker Holgren and the turnaround man Lucas Bateman there will bat at the bottom of the lineup. What an offensive roster they've really been able to put together here in Brantford, that we have that depth, that we haven't seen Iannantone play full-time. We haven't seen, well, Walker Holgren's been more or less full-time, but again, even guys like Savage substituting in and out. It's great to see this roster that I think they've really cultivated here, Brian. Cantor, Black, Ortega are well known, but Savage, Iannantone, Kazemka, we always talk about it. You really don't get a batter off in terms of, power threat, chance to put RBIs on the board quickly here in Brantford.
Well, I tell you what, the addition of Iannantone and Kazemka to this lineup, and Holgren as well. Not everybody was here at the start of the season. Nick was, but the other two have showed up after the start of the season. What they have done is they have lengthened this lineup. To have a hitter like Walker Holgren down in the 8th spot here just makes this lineup very dangerous. And you look at the first 4 guys in this lineup. All 4 of these guys hit home runs Friday night in Kitchener. And they all had, with the exception of Cantor, had exceptional games yesterday as well.
So here is Yoelan Quinonez, the man on the mound here, making his 5th start of the season. 26-year-old righty, all 6'4", 226 pounds from San Felipe, Venezuela. Get ready to face Jacob Cantor. That ball struck. First pitch he sees is in play to the third baseman. The throw from Smyber gets it there in time to man to record the first out. He's often going to swing at the first pitch. That one didn't quite go Cantor's way.
No, he hit the ball kind of off the end of the bat there. Nice play by Smyber, though, moving to his left. Caught the ball cleanly, squared himself. The nice thing about third base is you have the ability to square yourself up, take an extra step, to square your shoulders up to the throw and through a seat across the diamond to get the out.
Next up, Brody Black, the next man we'll see. First pitch a little bit high in on the hands for ball 1. Then he'll have Chris Ortega, the man on deck behind him. 1-0 becomes 1-1, catches the bottom corner on the outside. Black hitting .274 on the year. The average has dropped off a little bit. Still strong, though, in the RBIs column. Almost 20 walks as well. Lets that one go by. Does hit the zone. 1-2.
It's a nice testament to the depth of the Welland Jackfish to be able to throw a guy with this quality at the end of the week. A lot of teams don't have that kind of depth.
That ball shot down and foul back behind the play. It's going to be 1-2.
One thing that is a real change of note is Logan Grant catching today with Robert Mullen, the all-star catcher, DHing today.
Yeah, The best hitting catcher for both sides here going to be today's designated hitter. 1-2 in, catches him up on the wrist. Right up on the upper arm, maybe got him in the knuckle. Undoubtedly catches the hand there of Black. He is in some discomfort as he heads to the dugout.
Yeah, that come right up high on him, and obviously he had no intention of getting a piece of that, but it looked like it got a piece of the finger up against the knob of the bat. And I can tell you from personal experience, that is no fun whatsoever.
There are few places less comfortable to catch a hand. Remember, we had this situation, was it Tim Holick a week ago on Canada Day? We had a similar situation, the disagreement. It was Andrew Savage, actually.
It was Savage, yeah. He squared
does it hit the
bunt.
bat or does it hit the hand, right? And it's a similar discussion happening now. The Brantford dugout not happy. They're saying it caught him in the hand. It's a distinct sound when it catches the handle.
It sure looked and sounded like it went off the knob, but that doesn't mean it didn't catch a piece of his finger. And you know, obviously that Brody Black is not going to go over there and roll around like he's in the World Cup and pretend something happened to him that didn't.
So Grant's going to take this time to go chat to Quinones just to give you a little bit of information about today's starter here for Welland. He's pitched 20 innings coming into today's ball game. Again, 4 starts, also came in relief. Even 1-1 record. ERA just a tick over 4. There you see today's matchup, Irvin and Quinones. You see, of course, Irvin still looking for his first win of the year, but not that it's undeserved. You look at the ratio strikeout to walk for both pitchers. They're effective. They're consistent. Quinones in particular, his whip right at 1.5, so he's not going to give you much to work with. He's not going to put many on. Your goal today for Brantford needs to be, if you can get any daylight, if you could put any base runners on early, you got to take better advantage than we saw there on Canada Day early. Of course, in the end, it worked out in that awesome 9-8 comeback, but I think the goal today is going to be, okay, if you get anything, nobody stranded on base, certainly as long as this starter wearing 59 is in the ball game.
And Welland coming off a absolute smackdown of Chatham last night. That was a game that turned ugly real quick. It was something like 12 or
20
13,
to 4.
12 or 13 to nothing after 3 innings.
Yeah,
It was over early. And
that ball struck in play. Once again, going to go to third base. And actually, Luther, the shortstop, he'll be the man to play it. Close play. They'll say he got him at first. The crowd not particularly happy. It was a very close play at third, and Brody Black, the frustration of getting hit there up high, whatever seemed to happen with his hand and the bat, it's going to be even more frustrating with the close bang-bang play at first.
Yeah, that was a real banger there. That was a bit of a quick call by the umpire. But we are sitting 130 feet away, so I'm not in any position to criticize the call. Wasn't a huge reaction from the first base coach or from Brody Black. Brody Black, in fairness, is a pretty quiet, laid-back fella, so you don't expect a whole lot of reaction out of him.
Here's the third man up. New All-Star once again, Chris Ortega for his second consecutive season here in the CBL. Today's third baseman, he has been in excellent form, and today's in a very important position, hitting here in the 3 spot with 2 outs down in front of him.
And, of course, Chris was the player of the game yesterday, going 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and an RBI, and played some real quality third base for this team yesterday.
Swings and misses past 2, both of them with great break to the outside. Quinones has his spot there on the breaking ball early, 1 pitch away from getting out of this first half inning.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Brantford has faced Quinones before.
Swings and misses over another one. Great start there for 59, and the Welland Jackfish keep everything off the board. First strikeout of the day there for Quinones. Will cap off the first inning as the Jackfish take a 1-0 lead through 1 off the huge home run from Ethan Mann, the no-doubter, over the left center field fence.
I tell you what, it's a testament to the recruiting power of the Welland Jackfish. They leave no stone unturned when they are looking for baseball talent. There aren't too many Venezuelans playing in this league, I can tell you that for nothing. And it just seems like Welland just keeps coming up with top arms. You know, they had Abram throw the other night, and just a lot of starting pitching. And so this team may be sitting in 4th place right now, but I don't think anybody should worry too much about them. They're a quality team. Maybe the other teams have caught up to them a little bit, but they're certainly going to be there come playoff time. That is for sure.
Well, the playoffs in particular, you talk about, and you know, everybody disagrees how much it's valuable, but championship pedigree, right? The idea you've been there before, you know what it takes to have yourself ready in the later half of the season, to get yourself in shape and in form for a playoff run. This Welland team, regular season, you know, record be damned by the end of the year, they know they have a chance in those late days to always be their best version of their squad with a lot of continuity. You talk about the job that the entire organization's done, GM Jason McKay, of bringing back those core pieces, those names you recognize. If you look at the Welland lineup, there aren't really many names you've never heard of because that core offense in particular is so effective. And I think today is going to be interesting because so long for Welland, these dominant matchups, these head-to-heads, Brian, certain teams, it's true around the CBL, there are certain head-to-heads you look at, and you're like, my goodness, 20 games, 15 games, right? Like certain head-to-heads that you just get in a team's head. Welland has had those over a lot of teams in the league for a long time. They've, Brantford kind of broke that spell last time we were here at home. You got to wonder, is it going to be a couple teams maybe start to figure Welland out? And does that build the confidence of, okay, this long, dominant juggernaut, maybe we can get some games off them here and there?
Well, one thing that's definitely a necessity with Welland is you need to shut down that running game. And when I was with Kitchener in 23, Junior Ibarra shut it down, and we beat them 4 out of 6 times in the regular season. So throwing out Abe in the first inning is a really big step because, I mean, you've seen times where they'll steal 7, 8, 10, 12 bases in a game. Just ridiculous numbers.
Well, I mentioned to you that when you play Welland, you more or less recognize every single name in the lineup. Here's a great example. Today's center fielder, Justin Gideon, the man from Pickering, Ontario, going to hit to kick off the second inning. Looking at 2-0 here versus Irvin. Now looking at 3-0. They'll give him the spot there off the bottom corner, so a tough spot here for 20 in his second inning of work.
Looking like a tight zone here today, so you're going to have to make sure you get over the plate before this umpire calls a strike for you.
And that one does. Right down Main Street, gets it back to 3-1.
I thought yesterday's game was well umpired. I thought the home plate umpire called a good game, but it was a bigger zone. He was giving just a little bit off the plate, and
that one gets in, and it gets fouled off. 3-2 count. Really good job here by Irvin to put stuff in play with enough movement to keep the bat of Gideon honest.
Well, it's so important, right? You can't give any of these guys a free pass. You got to go right at them. They can hit. They can really hit well, but you've got to go right at them.
Gideon's batting average coming into today, 274, would be the lowest of his career by quite a margin. He's never hit under 300 in his career, but again, he's got a lot of season, a lot of runway left to go, almost 20 RBIs, nearly even walks to strikeouts, his ledger.
Yeah, anyone who's a long-time fan of this league knows Justin Gideon, one of the better hitters.
3-2 pitch. And they say he missed high. Gideon is going to take the free pass off to first base. Connor Irvin, an exceptional job to make that as competitive as he did, but the home plate umpire says no, that is going to be a successful 4-ball walk there for Gideon.
I tell you, that is a strict at-the-belt strike zone we got going on today. Hopefully both pitchers are going to be able to hit that consistently.
Next up, Brendan Luther, the shortstop. One of the most well-documented playoff performers on this roster, although you can say that about everybody. That one drops in, strike one.
Yeah, you were talking about the past and how this Welland team has related to that. The difference, one of the bigger differences this year, I think, in the CBL versus the IBL is that you're seeing the top lineups more often, both at home and on the road.
Right.
Last year and in past years in the IBL, there were guys that weren't available every night. There were some guys who couldn't make certain road games. They had work commitments, what have you. But it just seems like the top lineups are available more often this year.
1-1 the count. That one's going to catch it on the far side. So we'll see Gideon take his steps back off to first. The count now 1-2 here to Luther. Gideon's taken maybe a step and a half, almost 2 there out on first. Not a huge lead. Another small lead there for Gideon. 1-2's the count. Swings at that one, puts it up past Bateman through the infield. The runners will advance. Coming around to third goes Gideon. The throw. So here is Robert Mullen, the man that you talked about there, Brian, today's designated hitter, though often the catcher here in this lineup. One of the most well-documented power bats in the league. The amount of homers he hit pre-All-Star game last season, just ridiculous. Not quite up there this season, but not for lack of trying. He's still been great in 26.
Yeah, he didn't end up winning the home run tally last year, but he sure was out in front at the All-Star game.
That one is struck. Should be playable. Out to Holgren in center. Ranging back also is Cantor. Should be Holgren's ball. It is Holgren's ball. The throw back in. One hops it. Misses the catcher. It's going to be another run for Welland. Another runner off to second base. It is going to be Luther heading off there for the extra base on the wild throw back in. So a run scores for Welland. One out on the catch to Holgren. But that is going to be a runner there on second still to deal with for Irvin.
Well, that was a bit of a risk by Gideon to go. It was not a deep fly ball whatsoever, but it was a good read in the context that Walker Hultgren was not heading directly in to the plate. He had to hit a bit of an angle where he was headed more toward his own dugout, and he had to kind of turn his shoulders. And unfortunately, his momentum took the throw up the line on third base, and because it bounced directly in front of Cassidy Watt, it got away from him. And up to second went Luther.
So that pitch is going to drop in here for strike one. It's today's catcher, Logan Grant, the man hitting eighth today. One out in the inning. He's got Luther there on second. Up a little bit high there. Evens the count at ones. Even at one out, runner on second. Allen shot, very foul, hard hit ball will make it 1-2. Logan Grant hitting 200 on the season, small sample size though, only 35 at bats on the year. 18 strikeouts to 3 walks his ledger, so the plate discipline maybe something he wants to get figured out here today.
And this is a big out for Connor Irvin to make sure they get out of this inning without any further damage.
1-2 pitch. Irvin kicks and deals. Swings and misses past it. Grant will be sat down. Strikeout 19 on the new season. I keep saying new season. We're almost at the All-Star break, and there are plenty of faces on both teams that are going to feature in the upcoming All-Star game in Chatham. One among them we'll see in the next inning. Andrew Savage not out there on defense. We'll, of course, hit in that lineup and talk about deserving there for him. Andrew Savage, what a start to the season he's had. But the man hitting in the 9 spot today for Welland to cap it off, Brandon Hoope.
And he sure hit a rocket in Kitchener on Friday night. That was a home run in any ballpark.
That one drops in on the man from North Delta, 26 years of age. Third season here in this CBL, hitting a perfect 300 on the new season is Hoope. Irvin looking at 1-1. Swings and misses past that one. Nice outside break on that pitch to Hoope. Just got his first strikeout of the day, did Irvin. One more strike would be his second, and away out of his second inning. Here's the pitch. This is low and wide, but he's got room to work with. 1-2's the count.
Well, a good mix there. Get it out on the outside and gives him an opportunity to bust Hoope in here if he wants to.
One, two, runner on second. Irvin will deal to Hoope. Inside on the hands. They'll call it a ball, 2 apiece. Taikiyame, the man behind, should he be needed. New All-Star starter here in a few weeks in Chatham. First, here's the 2-2. Call that one low this time. Full count here for Irvin. Really nice takes here by Hoope to get himself back in this position. This will be the 28th pitch of the day for Irvin's start here. Looking to get out of it under 30 pitches in his first 2 innings. Full count, he'll deal. That one chopped to the third baseman. Ortega, the glove on it. The throw to Kuzemka. He's in time. And that will be the end of the inning. As Welland extends the lead, it's a run each in the first 2 innings for their offense. 2-0 lead the Jackfish here through the first inning and a half at Arnold Anderson. On a Sunday of baseball here, Marshall Crocker joined alongside Brian Hawley. We thank you for taking time out of your beautiful Sunday. Maybe not the most beautiful Sunday in terms of weather, some cloud cover here today, but Brian, what was it, 4 games in a row we called here? We were up over 30 degrees, Humidex near 40. A cooler day today at the ballpark, and you got to think that's some relief to these players.
Well, I tell you what, Canada Day was a scorcher, and we were happy to have the fans up here to get through. Yesterday was a cooler day, but humid, but turned into a nice sunny afternoon. And near the end of the game there, about the 7th or 8th inning, the sun came out and turned into a warm but very comfortable afternoon. So I got a few drops of rain on the truck on the drive up here, so there is some rain in the forecast. Looks like the worst of it coming somewhere around supper time, if it indeed shows up on time. And it's because, of course, the weatherman's never lied to me before, right? So
of course.
At the end of the day, we will just keep playing, and of course we can play through some rain, and it'll help get the dust down on the diamond, that's for sure, because we could use a little bit of rain.
Well, I want to take a moment here to congratulate all of our All-Stars playing in today's game, and because they're both in the south side of the league, they're going to be playing together. A lot of teammates here coming up in the Chatham-Kent All-Star game we're going to see soon. Of course, Andrew Savage, we talked about, going to be the catcher there in that ball game. A number of players here from a couple teams, London and Chatham specifically, come to mind. But Daiki Abe, the man himself, will be the center fielder there in that ball game. Ben Abram going to get the start. Talk about the year he's had. Lucky if you're Brantford here trying to pick up a win today, you don't have to face Ben Abram. And then Jonah Weisner, of course, going to be a reserve as well. Ethan Mann hit that big home run, so well-deserving he's going to be there. Davey Mendez and Tio Ortega both get a feature there for Welland, as well as the man on the mound today. Going to be one of the reserves is Quinones.
So I tell you what, you've got Davey Mendez and Jorge de la Cruz down there in the same bullpen for the South team. That's an interesting concept.
You make a great point. 0-1 here. That one misses well wide. Nicely caught by Logan Grant. Evens the count to Andrew Savage, making his first All-Star appearance as a well-deserved starter. What a year he's had, Brian.
He has, absolutely, and it was right off the hop. He got going right away.
That one struck in play to the third baseman. Smyber with the throw. Well in time to man. First out of the inning.
Very nice pitch there by Quinones, jamming him. Got it in off the hands, a soft grounder to him to third base. And one thing that we have seen Quinones from him already is that he is seemingly proficient at throwing the ball at both sides of the plate. He went outside, as you recall, on Chris Ortega and got a strikeout there. And then he comes inside on Andrew Savage and gets the soft contact.
Here's the first lefty of the day for the Brantford offense, Nick Guyan-Antone. That one misses low. Nicely caught again by Logan Grant. 1-0 here to the man wearing 32. A few days off that huge home run as part of the Canada Day comeback to beat Chatham on Wednesday. That one struck up high in the air. High foul, won't be playable.
Yeah, right after the Savage situation where everybody thought, at least the home team thought, that Savage had just hit a 3-run homer.
Right.
Ends up striking out, and then Guyan-Antone comes up, and he hits a 3-run homer. It was there was a lot of drama to that game, that's for sure. Both teams were angry at the end of it.
Up and in on the hands of Guyan-Antone, hitting .365 on the year, 12 walks, only 9 strikeouts. He's a pitcher's worst nightmare, I should say, in the late counts. That one struck into play, might get down in shallow center. Out to get it is Gideon, he gets there in time. Nice first step there by Justin Gideon to track that baseball down. Well struck by Guyan-Antone, but it's a fly out for his troubles.
Well, it was well struck. It was a line drive, and it was tailing to the third base side of the field, but just hung up a little bit and gave Gideon a chance to get underneath the ball and make the catch. So now Christian Kuzemka coming up, and here is a man who is wearing many hats for this ball club. He's played left field. He's played right field, I think he played briefly. He's played first base. He's played third base. And Friday night, he pitched.
Yeah, did some innings in his debut with the Red Sox back on the road against Kitchener Jack Couch about a month and a half ago. He has done everything. True utility man in every sense of the word is Christian Kuzemka. Swings at that one. Will it get down? It does. It's fair. Hard liner off the wall out in the left. Running around. He comes to second. He's going to make it in plenty of time. Christian Kazemka, first hit of the day for the Red Sox, and he does it with a liner that absolutely clobbered the outfield fence.
Yeah, Quinones was trying to do what he did to Savage to bust him in and get soft contact, but he caught too much of the plate, and Kazemka got out in front and yanked it down the line for a really solid hit.
Yeah, he's been great in his return to Brantford as Christian Kazemka. He's back onto second base as the second half of the gentleman from Illinois. First it was Ian Antone, then it was Kazemka. Here's Cassidy Watt back behind the dish. Always great to see him catching a ball game, and his bat is one to watch. If you like hard-hit baseballs, you're going to love number 15.
Yeah, we could tell he made adjustment to the launch angle on his swing over the winter.
Swings and misses on the first pitch. 2 outs in the inning.
That's just the only thing there is that he's really trying to hammer that outside pitch early in the count, and he might do himself a service by maybe laying off that one early and waiting out a pitch in a better spot.
That one struck, is in play. Chop to the shortstop. Luther. Nice throw on his back foot. Up in the air goes, man. He comes down in time. Cass doesn't like it there as he runs it out on first, but a very nice play by Luther. Didn't even look back towards the bag. Took a guess where it was on the throw. Man had to go up for it, but they make the nice play.
Well, that was a real nice play there by the
Luther
shortstop,
to
Brandon Luther, who had to go deep into the hole, threw on the run, kind of Jeter style, across his body. It came in high, but a nice job by the first baseman, Ethan Mann, to get back down on the bag before Cassidy Watt showed up.
Well, as we come to the end of the second inning of work here in Brantford for some Sunday baseball, as the Jackfish lead the Red Sox 2-0, we're going to take a quick step away for a look at the All-Star game that's now just 1 week away to the day. We'll hear a word about the All-Star game in Chatham, then a 60-second break, and we'll be back on Red Sox CBL Baseball, wherever you're watching us from. Don't go anywhere.
Get ready, Chatham Kents. For the first time ever in the new Canadian Baseball League era, the 2026 All-Star Showdown is landing at Fergie Jenkins Field on the July 11th and 12th weekend. The league's top talent all in one place. Watch the full slate of skills competitions, including the popular Home Run Derby on Saturday, and on Sunday, the ultimate 2026 CBL All-Star Game featuring your favorite players for a mid-season showdown. Chatham Kents, it's our time. The All-Star weekend of the new CBL era.
And welcome back to Brantford Red Sox CBL Baseball. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or CBL TV or Rogers Game of the Week, we thank you for tuning in here as the Jackfish still lead 2-0 here over the Brantford Red Sox through 2 innings off the big home run in the first inning by Ethan Mann. An absolute blast out to left center. Then it was a little bit of offense from Gideon getting on base, scored home by Luther. And as a result, the Jackfish lead 2-0. Get ready to try to open that advantage, as it's going to be the leadoff man back up to lead off the third. Daiki Abe will face Connor Irvin in his third inning of work. First pitch right down Main Street for strike one.
Last time up, Daiki hit the first pitch up the middle for a base hit and then was gunned down at second base by Cassidy Watt on the stolen base.
A one. That one up high. Abe, one of the most dangerous runners, if not the most dangerous base runner in the league. He was a really fun profile to look at there in All-Star voting. He got my vote, and he sure did make it as a starter. That one struck foul. Going to make it 1-2 here early. And, I mean, that's what you want here. Talk about the top of the lineup. You could not design a better 1-2-3. Abe, the great base runner. Wisner with some power. Up to Ethan Mann's big bat.
Not only that, but Wisner is probably 1-2 in stolen bases. He's the ability to steal a bunch of bases. One thing that I always like about when I'm watching the Welland Jackfish, their defense up the middle is superlative.
That one struck past the infield, lined over the head of Chris Ortega, rolls its way out into left. Einentone gets it back in time to keep Abe there at first. He singled back in the first inning, and he singles again to start the third. Remember, he was caught stealing there, though, on a great throw by Cassidy Watt. We'll see if Abe tries another one because, well, I think it's just something about those great, elite base stealers. You get caught once, you kind of want to prove you can get one back.
Well, you never go 100 for 100, so, we kind of always had a policy, run till you get thrown out twice. He takes a huge leadoff.
That one drops in for strike one. You saw Connor Irvin there a moment ago. The determination as he gets ready to face Jonah Weisner, who grounded out back in the first inning.
This was an old school Major League park. He'd definitely have 1 foot out on the carpet.
Abe, but a 2.5-step lead off on first. That one struck, is fair. Gets it just down the third base line, stays fair. Runners around. They're going to come all the way to third. Abe is going to check up there at third. But how fast he runs, I thought he may be a threat to come all the way around. It's a double for Jonah Weisner. And the same Welland bats that put up 20 on Chatham just a day ago, they're back in that form just a day later.
They seem to be right on Connor Irvin here, who is having difficulty stopping the Welland Jackfish from squaring up the baseball.
So here is Ethan Mann. He's only seen one pitch today, and he put it over the fence in left field. Now he's got runners on second and third in front of him, no outs.
Yeah, 11 batters, 5 hits already.
Misses that one a little bit wide. Ball one.
I've seen this young man throw many times. I don't know what it is. Maybe just doesn't quite seem to have the snap on his fastball that he normally does.
Went just a little bit high this time for ball two. He's painting the corners, but he's not quite catching the part of the corner that the ump wants to see. Man looking at 2-0. That one's going to miss low that time. He's caught every corner but the hands of the batter. Man looking at 3-0. This is a dangerous spot here for Irvin for a big bat. You can't give him something too easy to hit, but got to put something over the plate.
Yeah, you can't just give in here. You're throwing down the middle. He's going to hammer it again.
Gets the zone on the far side. Comeback pitch to make it 3-1.
That's a great pitch on the outside corner.
Smybert now the man on deck.
I'd like to see him come inside, maybe with that cutter.
Watt sets up down the middle. And that one sent right to the shortstop. Cantor will throw to first. Run will come home. They're not in time at first, says the first base umpire. Heartbreak there for the Red Sox, as now it's Ortega who's moved out there to first base. Not quite in time, the connection with him and Cantor as the run comes home. And there's a man on first with Ethan Mann's second hit of the day.
Well, that's unfortunate. Just a little bit of hesitation from Jacob Cantor. Good hustle down the line by Ethan Mann. But any hesitation, especially any of these top three guys, they're all rabbits. If you hesitate throwing the ball over to first base, you're risking him running that out.
That one clips the far side. To complete the thought, it is going to be Chris Ortega out there on first now defensively for the Red Sox. A.J. Korosis will move over to third.
Something must have happened to Kazemka.
Christian Kazemka does not appear to be on defense. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Irvin to Smybert sends that one up high and wide. Big opportunity for Irvin here with 0-2. Already 2 base runners on. Welland takes a 3-0 lead. Off the second RBI of the day for Ethan Mann.
Well, Kazemka having the only hit. Ran out a double on a shot down the line and then didn't come out for the top of the third inning defensively.
That one drops in. They're going to call it a ball. Didn't look like it dropped low enough, but Kemp's got a better advantage than we do. It's 1-2. Smybert still 1 strike away. He popped up back in the first inning. Irvin's 43rd pitch coming up. That one is struck, but will be foul. Deep to left, it's going to miss. Barely not hit the people sitting at those picnic tables out in left field.
Seems to be some stirring going on in the Brantford bullpen. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my eyes playing tricks on me, but it just he doesn't. Connor Irvin was the ace of this staff last year. He just doesn't seem to be as crisp as I have seen him throw in the past.
There you see Jonah Weisner out on second. That one misses low there on Smybert. He has come so close on a couple of pitches.
That too, yeah. He can't seem to get a call, and I'm not complaining about the umpiring here, but he is throwing a lot of really close pitches in that he's just not getting a call on.
2-2. That was struck past the infield, just out of the glove of Ortega. The throw in from Black is not going to be necessary to hold the runner. Amazed we didn't see Weisner come around third base, but the way the Welland bats are hitting here early, might as well just leave yourself on for the next guy.
Okay, so now that I did a little more digging, it's not Kazemka that's out, it's Black. Kazemka's out in right field now, and Black,
Good
after
catch.
getting that pitch off the finger, clearly was unable to continue, and he's the one that's been pulled here as Kazemka has moved out to right field.
Great catch. Yeah, it is going to be Brody Black, the man out of the ball game, and you're right. We saw that bit of discomfort. He still finished the at-bat. Couldn't quite run one out there at first. He's now left the ball game. That's why it's great you have the utility prowess of Christian Kazemka to play anywhere. I mean, one of us could get injured. He'd probably come in and do a good job at our spot. He's just so versatile, and this is going to be, I think, the 5th defensive position I've seen him play, not even including pitcher, in his time back here in Brantford after playing a couple seasons ago for the Red Sox.
Well, as I give Aiden Armitage, my partner for the first 4 innings yesterday, a real shout-out for the job that he did. We were joking yesterday that we were going to play a little Christian Kazemka position bingo to see if he can get into all. We don't anticipate him catching because this team has 2 very good catchers already, but it seems like Kazemka could end up playing all 8 of the remaining positions. So,
well, what's left? He hasn't played second.
I don't think he played short for an inning, I think, and he hasn't played second base. I don't recall him playing third, although I don't see every inning this team plays.
Has played left, has not played center. He's kind of snuck around everywhere. First pitch is up high over the head of Justin Gideon, who's back up. Second inning in a row after he walked in the second.
Meanwhile, we got a big problem here if you're a Brantford Red Sox fan with maybe the most dangerous hitter on this team.
That one chopped in play. Chance at the double. They're going to go home instead to hold the run. The bases remain loaded, but at least you've got the out on the board. They choose to take the runner. That's Weisner, who, again, I said a moment ago, was surprised he didn't round to come home. And, well, that's one of those opportunities. Might have cost him a run, but Welland still in a very favorable spot here early, 3-0.
Real nice play there by Christian Ortega, who had to go to his right to get that ground ball. It was a nice high hop, but he made sure he took the time to plant his foot and get a good, strong throw off. Coming over from third base, it has probably a stronger arm than a lot of first basemen.
So there you see Cassidy Watt as he gets ready for Brendan Luther to take his first hacks. That one drops in low. 20 versus 20 here, Irvin versus Luther. Just correction, it is 3-0. Welland Jackfish, after the fielder's choice a moment ago, they did decide to take the out at home. In exchange, the bases are still loaded. That one going to miss a little bit wide again. I think if the called zone was maybe an inch bigger, I don't think Connor Irvin would have thrown a ball all day. He is just missing on the outside.
Yeah, it's been tough for him to throw consecutive strikes here today.
2-0. Bit high again. Now 3-0 here to Luther. One more ball would bring a run home. Between base runners, batters left behind, and the guy at the dish, I don't think you could write a scarier scenario for the man on the mound than this. Let's see what Irvin can do with 3-0. That one does get the zone. Far side for 3-1.
Interesting, Leandro Mejia is in the bullpen warming up for the Red Sox right now.
We've seen him start a number of games this year. Last year,
he started the last 3 or 4 times out.
Right.
They talked about that preseason. Nice pitch.
Another
there.
one.
They talked about that preseason, how they wanted to stretch Leandro out and turn him into a starter.
That's an experiment they've tried for a couple pitchers. It's more or less worked, and going back the other way, often Jose Arias will be a starter he's done really good work the last couple appearances in relief. So you just want good arms. You don't care what part of the game they pitch in. 3-2. That one is up in the air. Will go foul, so the at-bat will remain alive.
Good job to fight off a tough pitch by Luther.
Luther's got Mullen behind him, so not out of the woods yet. Even if Irvin can retire the batter, he's in a big spot here on full count.
Luther runs well as on top of everything else, like most of these guys. Interesting that Jacob Cantor is well into the hole on the opposite side there. It'd be tough to turn a double play here.
That one in on the hands, fouled up at the fencing. Don't believe it's been announced. Correct me in the chat there if I'm wrong. I don't believe they've announced the last chance voters for the All-Star game. Jacob Cantor is on that ballot for voting the last man in to get in for the 2026 All-Star game in Chatham. One of the most valuable players on this team for sure. Let's see if the fan voters agree. 3-2. That one is struck past the infield, through the hole, and first and second. 1 run comes around. 2 runs will come around. The Jackfish take the 5-0 lead in the 3rd inning. And they've still got men on the corners with 1 out on a big full count pitch that went the way of the batter, Brendan Luther.
Yeah, it was a pitch that caught a little bit too much of the plate, but it's been difficult, as we've mentioned, for Connor Irvine. Big hole on the right side there, holding the runner on, and just got it through. And, of course, you have to play deep in right field in Brantford, so no real chance to throw out that second runner coming home from second base.
So here's Robert Mullen, men on the corners. And one of them will go. The throw to second. Another nice one from Cass. Not in time. And on the double, the run will also come home from third. The score is now 6-0 for the Welland Jackfish as they try the pick at second. And they pull the double. The man from third comes home. That is Smybert, who will score.
That is 8 hits already.
Successful swipe there as well. Luther now on second. That one drops in, misses just above the belt for 1-0. Looks like you got to keep that ball very low today if you're Connor Irvin. Here's the pitch. That one is struck very well. That's clobbered to left. Goodbye. Robert Mullen with an absolute laser to left field. Welland, they've kept their form versus Chatham here on the road in Brantford. 8-0 lead the Jackfish through the first 7 outs.
Well, it's just one of those days you just don't have it, and that's the situation.
For Connor Irvin here today, heartbreak for him. He's had a couple games in some tough ballparks. He pitched a game in Jack Couch that he had a little bit of trouble with the Kitchener bats, and you always want that get-back game, right, Brian? You want that one start to have everything go crisp, have a quality start, and start rattling them off from there. He knew he was going to have a tough one today. He knew he had a hard matchup versus Welland, and they've got to him from the very beginning. He'll leave this ball game seemingly in favor, yes, indeed, of Leandro Mejia. Like you said, it all starts for Connor with that fastball. How's the fastball looking? How effective is it looking? Does he have specifically the velocity up high? Well, he couldn't put it up high today. He wasn't getting calls in the zone, and from there, I think he just couldn't find the counterpunch. The
strikeout at Grant was a ball that was above the belt, but other than that, they have laid off everything above the belt buckle, and that's tough sledding, boy, against a team that hits as well as this team does. When you're not particularly sharp and you're not getting those calls, then it's certainly going to end up much similar to what it looks like right now. So,
yeah, 60 pitches going to be the day for Connor Irvin, and after that, he is going to come out of this ball game in favor of a guy that, well, a very good chance to start bringing this one back, or at least kind of stop the momentum that has swung very hard to the Jackfish way. It is Leandro Mejia, who will now take them out, get ready for his warm-up here.
And that's the 6th hit of this inning for the Jackfish. So, in the end, bringing in Leandro Mejia, who throws much harder, has had control problems in the past, but and you can tell by his numbers 12 walks in 17 innings. That it's been a challenge for him, and I we'll see if he syncs up better with this umpire than Connor did. Sometimes you just don't connect with an umpire, and that sounds weird to say that,
Yeah.
but I spent enough years behind that plate to know that there are some guys you just sync up with better and you work better with, and it's kind of an odd thing to say. Should be just see ball and call the ball, but that's not necessarily the case all the time.
Well, right. They have their projected zone. They have what they believe where they want to see pitches. If it doesn't line up with your pitch mix, where you're most effective, sometimes you just don't have that day, and that's seemingly what Irvin ran into today. I like what you talked about there. You mentioned about the worry for the walks, but for Leandro Mejia, oftentimes it doesn't matter. He had one huge blow-up appearance, an effective ERA in one game of 108. He allowed 4 runs in only one-third of an inning. If you throw that game out, he's been quite effective. His one appearance this season versus the Welland Jackfish, he threw 5 innings in relief. He was really effective in that ball game. I don't believe that was one of his starts. 4 walks to 1 strikeout. Not a great ratio, but only 5 hits in 5 innings, 1 earned run. So if you're effective swing and a miss, aside from those pitches you're just missing, you can be effective. And hopefully, if you're a Brantford Red Sox fan, Mejia can do that to start bringing this ball game back. Here's the pitch. Out is chopped down and foul. Thanks to Dan there in the chat confirming, yeah, last man in voting ends tonight. Head to cbl.ca. You got plenty of time to vote your last man in from either of these two sides or anybody else in the league. And crazy we're seeing across town there, Brian. Yasiel Puig, 2 homers already in that game today. It feels like when he gets them in bunches, and then he'll go through a bit of a slump. It's been a crazy season, and I think that's what we were expecting when he joined the league.
Yeah, I'd be honest with you. I'm not sure what I was expecting when he joined the league.
That ball sent well, although sent a little shallow into left. It's going to one-hop down. A ball that sounded hard off the bat gets high and in tone. Can't quite glove it clean, and as a result, that's an extra base for Logan Grant. Everybody getting their cuts in here today in Welland. This time it's the catcher with a double.
Well, there's a bat that died a hero. That was off the end of the bat. You could hear the sound that the bat had cracked when he hit it.
So next up is Brandon Hoope. He's only been up once. He grounded out, but he's now the last man left in the Welland lineup that has not been on base yet today. That's their only 2 appearances for everybody. No hit there for Justin Gideon, but he did walk in the second, so he's been on today as well. So man on second. Mejia, that one set high and playable up towards the third base line. It's going to be Cantor calling off for Carosis, and he gets there. Gets it in the glove, falls over for his troubles, but he does record the second out, and they're at least going to hold Grant there on second.
That was a major league pop-up, sports fans. Wow.
That was very, very high in the air. It felt like Cantor got under it all the way from short, right at the third base fence, and then it was still a couple seconds till he could make the grab, but he does. Mejia's got his first out of the day on the board on the pop-up. Now Daikiabe comes all the way back around for his second appearance in the inning.
Yeah, it's a bat-around inning for Welland here.
Mejia. Now ready. He'll deal. Catches the far side for strike 1. Jackfish 6 runs in the inning. Mejia trying to end that streak here. That one is set up in the air. Should be playable. Ranging forward is the outfielder Holgren, but it'll be Cantor, the man who can play it. He gets it for his second pop-up in 2 batters. And just like that, the Red Sox get out of the inning, but not without some damage. 8-0 lead the Welland Jackfish. 6 runs on 7 hits here in the 3rd inning. The Red Sox, plenty of ball game left to play. They'll have 7 more appearances on offense. But, Brian, that's one of those ones that it can be a backbreaker. You come off such a good defensive ball game. Yesterday, everything's buttoned up. You win it 4-3. When you already allow 8 runs put up in the first 3 innings, that gets to you as a ball club.
Absolutely it does. And, now the hard work starts where they only had 1 base runner in the first 2 innings. The double by Kuzemka was the only base runner. And so now the hard work starts where you just got to start chipping away. Here's the good news is that it's only the 3rd inning. You got 7 more at-bats to start chipping away at this. Leandro looked really good coming in there, sawing a couple of guys. Even the hit he gave up was a broken bat, popped up the other two guys. So that gives you some reason for optimism with Leandro holding this number at 8. And so now you've just got the 8-9-1 coming up. Hultgren has looked good. Bateman has hit well the last few weeks. And, of course, back to the top of the order after that. So just start with 1, get on base. Just get on base, and this is the thing. We talked about this yesterday. Hayden and I talked a fair amount about how this batting order was operating. They truly believe in the next man up mentality, and that's the way they've been approaching each at bat, each inning, each night. Just get on base, pass the baton. If there's a time for a big hit, then maybe you step up and get that big hit. But otherwise, work the count, get deep, get into their bullpen, and just keep slugging away. And that's what this team does. The one thing that we have loved about this Brantford team, you saw it Friday night. They were down 13-3 after 5 innings Friday night. Scored 7 in the top of the 6th inning to get it back to 13-10. Got back down 18-10, came up in the 7th and scored an 8th, and scored 5 and got it back to 18-15.
That was a ridiculous game, but it's always possible, to your point.
They just keep coming at you, this batting lineup, and they just need to keep doing that.
If the Chatham-Kent fans from Wednesday can tell the Welland side anything, it's not over till it's over, but the Jackfish off to a really strong start. So is this man. Canonia is back for his 3rd inning of work. That ball struck in play is fair to the first baseman. The throw in from Mann up over the head, almost missed it, but back in time is Canonia to get down to record the out.
Well, that is 2 or 3 high throws to first base. They've made them all work. They've gotten outs on all of them, but Welland is not doing themselves any favor on these throws to first base.
They're getting them there in the hurry. It's where they're placed relative to Ethan Mann. He's had a tough day for himself out there on first, but he's been good with the bat, and he's got everything down that he can get to here today.
Not to mention the fact you can see the size of Quinones. He's a tough dude to overthrow, man.
He is a big guy. You make a good point. 6'4", 226.
Yeah.
Looks every inch of it. They may need to update that measurable.
He looks taller than that. He looks near to the size of Leandro, who I know is 6'8", and I've stood behind Leandro, and anytime on a sunny day I need some shade, I just go stand beside Leandro Mejia.
Or Nikolai Arbach back in the day.
Yep.
Here's Lucas Bateman. Swings and misses past the second pitch for strike 2. Quinones has the first 2. He's aiming for that outside spot on all the righties. He's gotten it on most of them. The lefties gave him a little bit more trouble there in that second inning. Misses that one well wide. Still trying to get that spot. Missed it that time for 1-2. Bateman had that really nice sliding play back behind him all the way back in the first inning on defense. What can he do with the bat in his hand?
Yeah, highlight of the night stuff.
That one off the bat. Good job to keep it alive. It'll wrap back around to the top of the lineup. Jacob Cantor, the man behind. Bateman hitting .274 in the 26th season. The man from Waterloo.
And that number belies how he's been hitting the last month or so.
And swings through it. They need to record the out at first, and they will get the put out there. Ethan Mann getting plenty of work in here today. Second out already in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Well, I tell you what, the Brantford Red Sox have really been biting on that outside slider. At least a half of the hitters that we've seen thus far are really taking some unhealthy hacks at that pitch that just seems to be breaking off the outside of the plate. And not only that, but they seem to be opening up like they're trying to pull the ball and hit it hard. They're going to have to start to identify second time around now that outside pitch, and there it is there, is that they're going to have to start taking that ball the other way. And so Jacob didn't like that call.
You can say that for most of the offense here today. A lot of the Red Sox hitters have not been happy with some of the spots they're getting here. And Jacob's been effective consistently all the way throughout this season, but yesterday, 0 for 4 in that game versus Kitchener. That was a win. That one is struck, though. And a one-hop down. Bring that brief hitless streak to an end. He's back today with a hit in his second appearance. Lines it over the head of Mann. Out into right field. At least you got a batter on here if you're Brantford. The second hit of the day.
So now the replacement player, A.J. Carosis, who came in for Brody Black and is in at third base, moving Ortega to first and Kazemka out to right field up for his first at-bat.
So here is A.J. Carosis. That ball catches the bottom part of the zone here. Carosis, really big opportunity for him today. He's hit well in spots in this season, but to hit in the 2 spot with Jacob Cantor in front of you, a guy you got to think is going to have a great chance to be on base every time he comes up. He'll run now. The throw to second. He's in time. Jacob Cantor with another swipe on his season. No stranger to taking second if he gets on to first. His 12th swiped bag of 2026.
And so a 2-out hit turns into a scoring opportunity here if AJ can come off the bench and get a hit.
1-1. That one's wide. Nice take by Carosis. Like you said, it's got to start somewhere, Brian. You just got to start rattling off base hits.
Well, you start with one, right? Get a run. Start with a run.
See if Cantor tries to swipe third. Canoni has that one struck well. Carosis out to right center. What a strike by number 5. Off the fence, he's coming around to second. It's an RBI double as Carosis opens the scoring for Brantford. What a strike from the man from Mississauga, Ontario. That one nearly left the park.
Well, now you've got another opportunity. You get another runner in scoring position. When you get down a bunch like this, your runners in scoring position batting average has to be off the charts good, and that's not an easy thing to do. Great swing there by AJ. The nice thing about the lefty facing Quinones is that kind of takes a lot of the effectiveness away from that outside slider that he's been throwing to the righties.
First pitch, Ortega will put it right to the third baseman. Heartbreak there for Chris, right into the glove of Smybert. But Carosis, that big RBI there, his third of the season on only 2 hits. He had a 2 RBI single back earlier in the season. Since then, he's had a little bit of trouble with the bat, but that hit at least puts Brantford on the board. Great piece of hitting there from number 5. Well, it is Welland 8, Red Sox 1. In the early stages here as Leandro Mejia gets back to work here on the mound after he came in to relieve Connor Irvin about an inning ago. We want to thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us from Welland, Brantford, or anywhere in between. We thank you for supporting Canadian baseball and tuning in to Red Sox baseball here on CBL YouTube, CBL TV, and Rogers TV Game of the Week, presented by Mr. Lube and Tires. We'll take a quick moment to shout out our sponsors if we have a little bit of time here, and we always like to thank our partners. They make everything possible here at the ballpark, on the broadcast, wherever you're watching us from. Marshall Crocker alongside Brian Holly. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without our partners. Let's first thank Mr. Lube and Tires, your place for all things car maintenance, car repair. Mr. Lube and Tires in Brantford or the surrounding area. We thank them for being the title partner of our show. Montana's Barbecue and Bar, your place to go for, well, ribs, beers, anything that, well, it would be perfectly fitting here on a hot little weekend like we've had many of here to start off our beautiful Canadian summer. Montana's Barbecue and Bar could be your spot for any of your summer eats. Popeyes Supplements, we thank them for their sponsorship of the team. Popeyes, your place for all things supplements for your own personal workout development needs. I use them. You should use them as well. Popeyes Supplements here in Brantford. Terry Summerhays, on behalf of RE/MAX Realtors and the entire Terry Summerhays team, we thank them for their partnership here with the Brantford Red Sox in 2026. Getting ready here for the start of the 4th inning as the Jackfish bats. They've been hot, and hopefully Mejia has the fire extinguisher. Again, they come off that 20-4 win yesterday. Not many in the league have been able to figure Welland out. And, you talk about it, Brian, what's a team like Welland got to do with a little bit of a slower start? Not than, most teams in the league, but maybe they've had the last couple seasons. I think more than anybody in the league, finding out you're 3rd or 4th in the standings, I think Welland wants that quick turnaround. They've kicked it into another gear. The whole, offensive starting lineup is healthy, and they've looked every bit of it today.
Well, Welland is still Welland. I don't think that's changed, to be honest with you. Their starting pitching is good. Their bullpen is good. Their hitting is good. They run more than any other team by a mile, and their defense up the middle is probably the best in the CBL, arguably the best in the CBL. I believe it. Others might have a different thought, but the thing is that the other teams, as I mentioned earlier, the other teams' top lineups are available more often than they have been in the past, and that makes everybody a tougher matchup. And so at the end of the day, what you've got is a Welland team that is still going to be Welland and do Welland things, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And so, they're going to continue to hit the ball. They're going to continue to play good baseball, and you have to play better baseball than they do to beat them. That was the case when Brantford beat them a couple of weeks ago. And, they're not having the kind of day that they had that day, obviously. And, it is reflected in the score today.
Well, here's Jonah Weisner hitting .402 on the season. That's gone up today. Double just an inning ago. And he's going to walk on 4 pitches here to open up the 4th inning. I think at this point, the Welland Bats have a little bit of opportunity to say, all right, prove you're going to put something playable in the strike zone, then we'll start swinging.
Well, Welland love to take the walks because they could steal the bases too, right? They quite often walks and singles turn into doubles in a big hurry and sometimes even triples. Ethan Mann has really been smacking the ball today, that's for sure. And so you've got a situation where Weisner probably doesn't need to run at 8-1, but it's still only the 4th inning. And no one would think they're breaking any unwritten rules if they do continue to steal bases.
That ball struck through the infield. Mann's legendary day continues. Another hit for him. My goodness, this Welland offense. It's the man who leads the league in RBIs in Weisner. And then it's the man who's 3rd in the league in RBIs in Mann, 36 and 30 respectively for the two of them. They hit back-to-back, and they both put themselves on base here to open up the 4th.
Yeah, to have 2 guys at 30 RBIs at this point of the season, they barely played 20 games.
Weisner went 5 for 6 yesterday versus Chatham as well. He's already 1 for 2 here today with a walk as that one in low. Just misses Smybert. Smibert's already got a hit today. He's singled back in the 3rd inning, popped up back in the 1st.
Smybert has really come on the last month or so. He's been playing some very good baseball.
Getting plenty of work today in on defense at the hot corner. Out inside again. Mejia trying to keep stuff inside, prevent the hitter from getting his hands extended, but he's really got to start putting strikes up here because he can't get away with too many balls against these hitters. Across town, keep an eye. Toronto leads London 4-2. Early stages at Christie Pitts. 2-0, catches the bat into the glove of Watt, 2-1.
Yeah, Yadi Martinez, former Kitchener Panther, throwing for the Leafs today. Starlin Joseph just hit a home run to make it 4-2.
Keep you posted on that game as it continues. First, here's the 2-1. Ball gonna miss low. Smybert looks at another one, in for ball 3. Justin Gideon, the man up behind. Gideon and Hoope, the only 2 left without a hit in this ball game for the Jackfish. That one struck right at the second baseman. Bateman, the glove for 1. For 2. In time, says the first base umpire. 2 outs put on the board with a double play, and Brantford needed that like a man in the desert needs water.
Very nice play there. Charged the ball. Nice play by Bateman. Charged the ball. Good power feed. Right belt high to Cantor, who strong throw over to first. Good stretch by Ortega. Good play all the way around by the Brantford defense. And yeah, a very much needed double play ball.
Here is Justin Gideon. That ball with great movement. Creeps its way back down the middle for strike 1. Gideon's got Jonah Weisner there, the man on 3rd. 2 outs in the inning. Big spot for Mejia. Now it chops straight down. Gideon goes down 0-2.
And isn't that something that they've got 8 runs through 3 innings, and Gideon doesn't have a hit. But he has scored 2 runs.
Good start here for Mejia. 15 pitches, 8 of them balls, 7 of them strikes. He could even it up here to get his first K of the ball game. 0-2, he deals. A little bit too high, but he's got room to work with. 1-2. Two is the count. Mejia is ready. He goes. They don't give it to him on the far side. Justin Gideon now looks at 2-2. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's Mejia. That one. Bit of a weird low bouncer. Does go foul, though. Took a moment to get an official call there.
That was a weird one. It almost like the sound, I could hardly hear a
couldn't
sound
tell.
of a bat. It almost like it bounced off the plate.
Yeah, it was a weird pop.
It sounded like the ball bounced before he hit it, like a cricket swing or something. That was an odd thing.
Regardless of what it was, we're back looking at 2-2, 2 outs once again. Mejia facing Gideon. That one in and wild. Runner will come home. Jonah Weisner will trot his way in for the 9th run of the day for the Welland Jackfish.
That's a shame. They got themselves out of a first and second nobody out jam with a nice double play there and then just a ball in the dirt.
So now 9 runs for Welland. Jonah Weisner accounts for 2 of them. Gideon continues to look at 2-2 here. That one is struck very far foul over the first base line.
That is as far foul as you're ever going to hit a ball to your pole side. That ball went almost over the dugout.
You can park far away here at Cockshot Park, ladies and gentlemen. You can never park far enough.
Don't park in center field there because Justin Gideon would have just hit you.
That one struck high and out. Should be playable for Cantor. He'll wave off the rest of the outfield. Gets it in time and makes the grab to retire the side. Not without one more run for Welland. They now lead 9-1 in the middle of the 4th inning. This has been about as good of a day as you can imagine for the Jackfish fans, and they already saw a great one there just a day ago. The Red Sox, what's the counterpunch? What's the response? It's going to be Andrew Savage, the man kicking it off. Maybe a bit of a recent all-star bump will help him, and then he'll see Nick Ian-Antone and Christian Kazemka up behind.
Well, I'm interested to see what kind of adjustments that the Brantford hitters make in this inning because, as I had mentioned before, they are really fishing at that outside slider, the right-handed hitters. It has been a predominantly right-handed lineup in Brantford. Only 2 lefties started the game, being Ian-Antone and Hultgren. A 3rd lefty has been added with the injury to Brody Black. A.J. Carosas is also a left-handed hitter. And so what you've got now is you got Savage, Ian-Antone, and Kazemka. Kazemka had the double in the 2nd inning there. So if Savage can get on base here, you've got a lefty coming up in Ian-Antone who's hitting very well. And then Kazemka, who already hit a double today. So maybe get a little bit of a rally going and start getting back into this game. This game is moving along fairly well.
So it's Logan Grant, the man who will continue to receive here from Quinones, who's, like we said, going to be an all-star reserve here coming up in a few weeks. Let us know, Brantford fans, Welland fans, anybody out there, will you be making the trip to Chatham-Kent for the All-Star game? What do we think? I had an awesome experience last year at Bernie Arbor there in Hamilton. They put on an awesome show, and I think it's up to Chatham to one-up them out there, but I know they got the diehard fans, plenty of fans in attendance for the road crowd there when we played them on Canada Day, and even more today for Welland. My goodness, does the Jackfish faithful travel.
They sure do.
My goodness, we are a pretty busy house here along the 1st and 3rd base grandstands. Big reason for it is the Welland Jackfish fans traveling. Here is Andrew Savage up for the 2nd time today. Grounded out back in the 2nd inning.
So the key here is to force Quinones to bring that slider further in.
Allen catches the outside part of the zone, 1-1.
But that is the counter punch to that, and the fact that he's got a live fastball. He can throw that fastball and slider in the same spot on the outside black.
That ball well too wide there, no swing, says the first base umpire. Savage,
Good job
2-1.
laying off that. Sorry, Marshall, and that is precisely what I'm talking about, the ability to lay off that outside slider.
2-1. That one misses low. 3-1. Quinones has another great element of his pitching prototype is he's so good at tunneling. You really can't tell until you see the pitch about halfway to the mound, or halfway to the plate, pardon me, what it's going to do. He tunnels specifically that breaking slider and the fastball. Like you say, release point, exact same spot. Where it ends up, obviously very different. 3-1. That one struck, is in play. Gets over the head of the third baseman, Savage. The climb back towards a 400 batting average continues. He's in for a stand-up single.
Nice piece of hitting there. He got a pitch to hit, and he didn't make it. He didn't miss it. He ripped it over top of the third baseman, Smybert, out into left field. And so, as I mentioned earlier, they get that leadoff hitter on. If they can get a rally going here, Einentone, a left-handed hitter, and they are certainly, the lefties are certainly seeing Quinones better than the righties are.
That one struck. Yes, they are seeing him well. That one is going to get down into shallow right center. You talk about death by 1,000 paper cuts. Sometimes you just need to start getting hits rattled off back-to-back. Brantford starting to do that in a hurry. Einentone in for the single. And it's Kazemka, the next man up, and he had a double back in the second inning, his only appearance today. So things starting to turn up here. A rare blue helmet here for Christian Kazemka. Goes well with the red jersey.
I really like these jerseys, too. They're so sharp, these red ones.
Always got to love those Canada Day jerseys with the awesome leaf that we saw on Wednesday, and those are going to be associated with a nice memory after that walk-off inning, ninth inning ball game, pardon me, we called on Wednesday. It's going to be Grant having a bit of a chat, going to consult with Quinones, who he hasn't showed much daylight today, but what did I say earlier, Brian? The way that Quinones pitches, you're not going to get too many on. He's, his whip is incredibly low. If you get any opportunity to get base runners on, you got to take advantage. You got to put the bit between your teeth and put some runs up on the board.
Well, that's a great point. And as we mentioned, Kazemka hit the double last time up in the second inning. And boy, howdy, could Brantford use one of those right now. They really need to put a crooked number on the board here and get back into this game. As I mentioned, in a span of about 14 innings, they scored 5 or more runs 3 times this week between Wednesday and Friday.
They're going to give him that one wide off the plate for strike one. Batter's going to call time here because Zemke's going to take a moment to compose himself.
Kazemka didn't like that call. He thought it was off the plate.
Yeah, the Brantford right-handed hitters have a tough job already today. If they don't know where the outside is, it's going to become a very long Sunday afternoon. Swings and misses past that one for 0-2.
And there's the downside of that pitch off the plate being called, is that now you get chasing on that outside slider that Quinones is so good at.
You talk about that connection. Calls of an umpire, the pitches of a pitcher.
Yep.
Didn't go well for Irvin. It's going well for Quinones.
It sure is.
That one is put in play right at the shortstop. Luther, it'll double hop to him. For 1 at second. And for 2 at first. He'll get both. And unfortunately, Bateman tried the slide in. Not Bateman. There was an early slide there from Einentone. I think he kind of undershot it as he was coming into second.
You got to get down early. You got to get out of the way of that throw. That's a rule.
Did a good job there to do so, and well, there's 2 on the double play. So here's Cassidy Watt. A moment ago, there were no outs, and he was looking at 2. Now he just looks at 1 base runner and 2 outs. Really big spot here for Cass. Oh, it drops in. It doesn't drop hard enough. Ball 1.
Now we're in a situation identical to the top half of the 4th inning where Welland had first and second and nobody out, grounded into a double play. Their run scored on a pass ball. We'll see if Brantford can score their run with 2 out.
That one is up and shouldn't be playable. Out and foul over the first base line. Cass going to fix the headband. Get ready to get back to work on 1-1. Grounded out. His only other appearance here today. He's got Holmgren behind him on deck, should he be needed. That one misses. Goes behind. Wild pitch, but it's too close to the catcher for Savage to come home.
Kind of an odd coincidence there. We had a pitch, and that was the difference, is that one went in the dirt and hit Grant in the right foot and bounced to his left and stayed in what we call the cutout. Generally speaking, there's a general guideline there. If the ball gets away from the cutout from the catcher, then that is an opportunity to score if you get a good jump from third.
Cass going to call time. He's got something in his eye. Just a weird thing. We saw a lot of, particularly Cass at the start of the season. He's had a lot of this year, having something get caught up in his eye that he takes time for. It's just a weird thing to particularly happen to one hitter, but anything that'll lapse your concentration, right, could be critical. Here's the 2-1. That one bounces again. This time it's in front of the catcher. If you want a pitch to go wild and bounce off your catcher, those are about the two most perfect positions it could go.
What a fantastic block by Grant that time. He got a little fortunate on the previous one, but that was all mechanics. Great block there to keep the ball in front of him. 9 times out of 10 on a pitch like that, that run scores. So kudos to Logan Grant.
No doubt he saved a run on one of those last two. Savage still there on third. Here's the 3-1. That one struck in play. Very high hop up to the third baseman. Smybert, the throw, well off the mark. That one misses man. Run will come home. Brantford will cut the deficit now only to 7 on the single from Cassidy Watt.
Well, that's just another Baltimore chop. We've seen that a few times in the last couple of weeks, haven't we? Remember, Ortega got a walk-off on that Baltimore chop a couple of weeks ago.
Cass kept the game alive on Wednesday. Remember, right before the final hit.
Exactly.
That's how he gets on to first.
Right before the winning run come in. So now you got the lefty Hultgren up. See if he can put a charge into one here.
One of just 2 lefties today for Brantford. Sees that one off the bat, off the barrel. Finds its way out. Strike 1. Holker, no stranger to very big hits this year since he joined the team, particularly at home. That one is low for ball 1, evens the count at 1 apiece.
Of course, when Brantford beat them here,
that's right.
He hit the big 3-run homer to make it 6-0.
That was the day I took a day off. I was just kind of helping do some production work. I was kind of floating around trying to get things in order here on the broadcast. I looked over, and a split second after I looked at field level, one of the prettiest swings you'll ever see. That shot that left the ballpark. He's going to get the call there on the outside and low. I mean, Quinones, he's getting room to work with. He understands he's got a big zone, and he is playing it to perfection.
The Brantford faithful not happy with the home plate umpire.
That one is down in the dirt.
Another good block there by Grant.
No room for interpretation when it hits the dirt and comes up. 2-2.
It's interesting because he's down on one knee, which just makes it really tough with runners on base, especially when they had the runner on third. That style that he uses.
And he'll have to test it here as Watt will go on the hit and run. Maybe he won't. Right to the second baseman and right to the first baseman. The infield defense here today for Welland. They've had a couple throws go a little bit loose on Ethan Mann, but they're always quick. They're always effective. That is a pro-style defense that gets another out put on the board. Through 4 innings, the Red Sox cut the lead to just 7, but it is Jackfish 9, Red Sox 2. We'll take a quick look at the upcoming Chatham-Kent All-Star Game. We'll take a quick look at what you can expect in just 7 days' time there. Then a quick 60-second break, and we'll be back on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires.
Get ready, Chatham-Kent. For the first time ever in the new Canadian Baseball League era, the 2026 All-Star Showdown is landing at Fergie Jenkins Field on the July 11th and 12th weekend. The league's top talent all in one place. Watch the full slate of skills competitions, including the popular Home Run Derby on Saturday, and on Sunday, the ultimate 2026 CBL All-Star Game featuring your favorite players for a mid-season showdown. Chatham-Kent, it's our time. The All-Star Weekend of the new CBL era.
And welcome back to the top of the fifth here in a ball game that's going pretty quick here in Brantford for some Sunday afternoon CBL baseball. It's going quick, but not due to lack of hits. The Welland Jackfish lead 9-2 through the first 4 innings here today. Not many of them, though, coming off this man, Leandro Mejia, back on the mound here to get started for the top of the 5th inning on the home side. And, well, he was grooving out. We were doing the cha-cha slide a few moments ago. He's always an eccentric. He's a fun-loving guy. He was out there grooving along with our game day team.
He's a big man with a big smile, and he really is a really nice guy. He's super nice guy, big personality on that big smile of his, and he's just a fun guy to be around at the ballpark.
Swings and misses over top of that one as Brandon Luther goes down 0-1. He is having, well, a heck of a day for himself at this point. He's just one of many here for Welland. 2 singles, 2 RBIs to show for it. He'll then see Robert Mullen and Logan Grant up behind him. 2 catchers, one of them the DH. That one misses inside. Ball 1.
See Noah Law throwing in the, I think it's Noah Law anyways, throwing in the Brantford bullpen. A little surprised. He threw Friday night, threw a couple of innings.
1-1. That one is fair and just barely gets past the glove of Ortega. Or not. Well, the Red Sox. They're going to get one there.
Well, the Welland faithful are not happy with that first base umpire. They thought the ball was fair. And
you don't often hear that much noise about a foul ball going the road team's way. I think that speaks to how many Welland fans are here.
I think we went on the presumption that if Chris Ortega couldn't get it, it must have been foul.
I like that. I like that logic. He is pretty darn good there at first. I'll take that. It was fun because it was a different set of voices complaining than we'd heard all day.
Yep.
You heard a whole new side of the crowd. 1-2 here in Brantford. Mejia facing Luther. That one is put foul.
That was an emphatic foul call. He was quite sure of himself at the time. I'm not in any position to tell you whether it was or it wasn't. He's standing 20 feet away from the base, right on the base line. So, you know, he knows better than I do whether it was fair or foul.
1-2. That one is struck. I think they're going to say that one's fair. Rolls its way out to right field, in for a stand-up single to kick off the inning. Brendan Luther's hot day continues. Make that single number 3 for his Sunday afternoon.
And, of course, there was one smart aleck in the crowd that yelled foul ball.
I mean, you have to.
Just couldn't see that coming a mile
If I
away,
wasn't up here on a
guess.
mic, I'd probably be the one doing it. Robert Mullen, the next man up here. 2 RBI home run.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Mullen's last ball to land.
Yeah, it's well put. He clobbered one back in the 3rd. He's up again.
Running.
That one looks similar in terms of height, not similar in terms of location. That one's out foul down the 3rd base line.
Another one absolutely yanked foul. A lot of these Welland Jackfish players are really hijacking pitches way out in front.
0-1.
Looks like Luther's going to go.
He will. Good call. Hit and run, and it's over the head of the 3rd baseman, Corosis. Didn't quite have a chance at the play on that one. Up over his head. Another hit this time for Welland. It's a single to Robert Mullen, and it'll advance Luther off to 2nd.
Yet another Baltimore chop, man. I tell you, time to spray some water around the home plate area. Everything that bounces within 6 feet of the plate is going way up in the air. We have had a little bit of rain this week. I'm surprised it's that hard around the plate.
Right, yeah. Ground clearly firmed up here today, even the way we've seen a couple bounces. That last hop off the infield dirt. That one is chopped. It is in play, is through the infield again. That is the Welland zone, that spot between 1st and 2nd, and they're going to get a run in for their troubles. The throw in from right field, Kazemka almost gets it there in time. But Welland, they hit the double-digit mark. It is now 10-2 Jackfish on yet another single between 1st and 2nd to Logan Grant, his 2nd hit of the day.
And I got a feeling we may see a pitching change here.
Very well, might. Here comes Greg Rapp, the pitching coach, out to chat with Yandra Mejia. Only 2 runs he's given up here today since coming in for Connor Irvin. And it is going to be a new arm coming in for the Red Sox. Mejia gets a round of applause from the crowd as he takes his trip off to the dugout. Next up, it's a man who's in a race of sorts with Justin Gideon. Brandon Hoope and Justin Gideon, the last 2 here for Welland, to not have a hit here today. Hoope 0 for 2, the only hitter who has not been able to get on base yet.
Yeah, Gideon doesn't have a hit, but he's been on twice on a walk and a fielder's choice and scored 2 runs. Hoope hit the ball hard. His first attempt and a ground out to then third baseman Chris Ortega, and then popped one up to Jacob Cantor in the bat around 3rd inning. So Noah Law through Friday night at Couch in Kitchener. Had a nice chat with him pregame. Nice guy. We have we know some similar people through our time in baseball, and it's just good to chat with guys who have been down a similar path there. Some guys that I used to coach, he went to school with. Pretty much straightforward fastball, curveball, changeup. He's got a good sharp breaking 12-6 curveball.
Yeah, 21 years old from Hamilton, Ontario. This is 4th season in the Canadian Baseball League. He's played Welland already 2 times this year. 3 combined innings in both those ball games. He's given up 4 earned in those 3 innings. Doing a good job limiting walks. Only had any in one of those appearances. Did throw 2 in the game on June 11th there in Welland. But we'll see what he's got here today in his 3rd appearance versus the Welland side. He's generally speaking had a polarizing set of games. He pitched 4 1/3 inning. Kind of a thankless 4 1/3 there in a big game against Kitchener back on June 18th. That was one of those huge offensive barn burner ball games we've seen this season between Kitchener and Brantford. That one never really closed. Gave up 7 earned in that game. Other than that, though, he's been quite effective in his 2 most recent appearances prior to pitching, like you said, on Friday. That one there in Kitchener, one of many a run put up on the board. He allowed 2 in 2 innings there. But the 2 games beforehand, no hits, no runs allowed in the inning he came into relief. So we'll see which version of Noah Law we get here, as he drops one in just low of the zone to Brandon Hoope.
So 2 more homers in the game in Toronto, and London has stormed back to take a 5-4 lead there in the currently bottom 5.
Hoope swings and misses past that one. Law gets himself back to 1 apiece.
Well, with that 12-6 curveball, clearly hoping for a ground ball here, similar to the last inning, to roll up a double play ball.
1-1. Facing Hoope. Drops in a little bit too high for ball 2. It's going to be Daiki Abe, the man up behind. He'll hit for the 4th time today. 2 singles that he popped up in the bat around 3rd inning. Here's the pitch. This is wide, misses low. Ball 3 is Law. Running into similar troubles on the far side of the righties. Can't quite find that spot on the outside yet, and Connor Irvin probably would have had similar sentiments. That spot seems to be hard to find against these righty Welland bats. Here's the 3-1 pitch.
Heads
up. Gets him up on the dome. Law's apologies immediately there to Hoope, who will be on base for the first time here today, but not in the method he would have liked.
Yeah, that's a curveball, so obviously no intent there.
Lucky you heard that one clatter off the dome up on the helmet. It is bases loaded Welland for the 3rd inning here today. Daiki Abe back up, as I said, 2 for 3. Came home to score back in the 3rd. Was caught stealing. A rare swipe fail there for him back in the 1st. That one up high. for ball one.
Brantford playing with the corners in here, hoping to still nail a guy at the plate. It's still pretty early to be giving up runs willy-nilly, so at the end of the day, you want to try and chop down the run at the plate.
Abena looking at 2-0. Law really needs something in the zone here to start challenging his bat. Chops that one straight down. He's in some discomfort. I think he took that one off the right foot on the way down. So this is going to be 2-1. Abe, a little bit of discomfort. Looks like he's okay. He'll continue in the box.
Tough to get on top of that 12-6 curveball that Noah throws.
That one is struck out to left, way to left. Ranging back is Ian and toe. That one off the fence. That will bring one home at least. The runner's going to check up on third, but Abe, a very hard-hit baseball out into left field. I think he kind of got bottlenecked by some base runners in front of him by Hoope. Would have likely been a double instead, just an RBI single to make this 11-2 Jackfish.
Yeah, all runners had to hold there because the ball was headed for the bottom of the wall, and we were still right up to the last second, not sure whether Nick Einentone was going to be able to catch that ball or not.
So next up, it's Jonah Weisner. That one drops low with the zone for ball one. That is 10th pitch of the day here for Law. Since he came in to open up the 5th inning. Pardon me, in relief of Mejia. Gets that call wide of the zone there for 1-1 on the far side. Ethan Mann on deck, looking to continue his somewhat unfathomable game that he's had here today. That one is chopped, is foul. 1-2. Just doing some scorekeeping here. I believe the record in a 2-game span that any team has scored in back-to-back games this year is 28, set by the Barrie Baycats earlier this season. Welland trying to beat that mark.
Welland only needed half of the game to top that number.
They're now up at 31 since the start of the game yesterday. I believe that one at home versus Chatham, but that one by Law will sit him down on the breaking ball. So Jonah Weisner down on strikes for his first time today.
That's that big breaking curveball that he is known for, so he's going to try and throw a couple more of those to Ethan Mann, see if you can get him to knock one into the dirt instead of barreling up like he's done all day long thus far today. And maybe even roll up a double play, even though Ethan Mann runs very well.
3 for 3 is Mann today. That one bounces off the dirt. Nicely blocked by Cass. Ball one to the man with 2 RBIs in today's ball game, including that big home run shot back in the first.
Yeah, he put quite a charge into that ball, that's for sure. And he has barreled up everything he swung at pretty much on this day.
Not many ball games that's not the furthest hit baseball. I think Robert Mullen may have had him beat back there in the third. Now when he struck right past the infield, make him 4 for 4 on a Sunday afternoon. He's going to bring 2 runs around to score. The Jackfish open it up to 13-2. Ethan Mann's now got 4 RBIs, and he's 4 for 4. My goodness, what a day he's had.
Hang a curveball there, left it too far up. You got to get that pitch down at the knees so you can get it into the dirt. But ball came in right at the belt, and Ethan Mann is zoned out today, and he made no mistake on it.
Next up, James Smybert swings past one. 1 for 3 on the day here for him. Grounded into a double play that set up the end of the 4th inning. He's back up just an inning later. The man from Mississauga. That one in for a strike in the bottom part of the zone. Law's up 0-2 here early. Former member is Smybert of the Trois Rivières Aigle. Celebrated his 30th birthday less than a month ago. Now he faces 0-2. And 0-2 goes low in the dirt. Watt off the foot. Gets it in time before anybody can advance. Tabe there on second. Wasn't quite sure what to do with that one. Makes the wise move there to stay. Justin Gideon now warming up on deck behind Smybert. "15 walks, 7 strikeouts on the season for James. He's not often one to go down on strikes. And he doesn't on that pitch in particular. That one's low of the zone to go 2-2.
Some more action in the Brantford bullpen. Just trying to see if we can figure out who that is.
Should be Axel Rosario, I believe, number 30.
Oh, that's right, too. He threw Friday night as well in Kitchener.
And that one drops again. Really nice take there by Smybert to check up. He was ready to go around hard on that one. Does blow it up there to make it a full count after starting out 0-2.
That 5-4 lead from London was short-lived. It's already 6-5 Toronto.
That one is up in the air. Holmgren ranging under it. Should be fairly clean into the glove. It is. Fly out there after Smybert did a really good job coming back down 0-2. Works his way back to a full count. Gets a small piece of the pitch from Law, but it's Holmgren who will record the second out of the inning. So Justin Gideon is now up, and once again the Jackfish are just 1 out away. Pardon me, 1 batter away, 1 spot in the lineup from going around for the second time today.
I can't imagine he's going to go too long with Noah Law after he threw a fair amount of pitches on Friday night.
This will be Gideon's 4th consecutive inning he's hit in. Walked in the second, got on in a fielder's choice in the third, popped up in the 4th. Still looking for his first hit here in the 5th. Well, they converge and go their separate ways once again. Noah Law still going to be the man on the mound. We thank you for joining us here in Brantford on Brantford Red Sox CBL Baseball. Wherever you're watching us from, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires. Marshall Crocker, Brian Holloway on the call for you. As always, we thank you for watching, no matter where you're coming to us from. I'd say plenty of Welland fans watching, but I think everybody might be here in attendance. Really strong showing here for both sides. That one going to miss wide to the zone for ball 1. That one is low. Nice take there by Gideon for 2-0. Gideon looking to join the party. There have been 5 singles in this inning. But there are 2 outs. Law just wants to put something in play. Drops it in. There's that curveball you talked about, Brian. Unreal how late that one breaks.
It's a sharp 12-6 curveball. It's a really good pitch. He throws it. He can throw it 2 different speeds, which is kind of an important thing to do.
That one up in the air. Might be playable. No, going to go well wide over the Brantford bullpen. 2-2. Here's a big spot for Law if he wants to finish his day off with the end of an inning.
The reason I mentioned that is that it's good to throw 2 different speeds on your breaking ball. It really adds another layer to your arsenal. It's the same pitch, but you just take a little off of one and gets a little bit bigger break, something you want to try and get somebody off on their front foot, hit it softly.
That one up in the air, going to go foul once again. Still 2-2, 2 outs, 2 on here in the top of the 5th. The Jackfish continue to lead at 13-2. Gideon looking to open that advantage up even further. Law. That one put in play. Right to Bateman at second. Gloves it. A little bit of stuttering, but he gets it there to Ortega in time. Gideon grounds out for his second time today. Spikes the helmet off the dirt. Probably the only gentleman wearing green here in the ballpark today that's not happy the way this one's going. 13-2 now lead the Jackfish on 16 hits. 6 there for the Red Sox. 1 defensive error. It went the way of Brantford.
Yeah, you can tell Justin Gideon's disgusted with himself. You're right. He's the grumpiest guy you'll ever see on a team that's up 13-2. But now that he's 0 for 3 with a walk, just trying to sort some things out. And he is a good enough ball player to hold himself to a very, very high standard and expects more out of himself. And I'm sure that you just, when he does figure it out, you don't want to be the team that he's playing because he can do a heck of a lot of damage in one game.
Well, we just want to remind all of you watching, whether you're a Welland fan, a Brantford fan, or a fan of another fan base that isn't quite playing ball games today or until this evening, not too late. The last man vote into the All-Star game for 2026 in Chatham closes tonight at midnight. You've still got time. Get in there, get your votes in. A couple big names left on the ballot, a couple guys that I think in any other year would be no doubters joining that roster there on the south or north side. But instead, the ballot there this year is so competitive, Brian. I know you did your ballot there for the All-Star voting, along with myself. The media ballot, there's always that extra little bit of pressure on it to make sure you're getting the right guys in. I think I had a perfect clean sweep. I think this is the first year I voted in anything that I went a perfect 9 for 9. I think my entire starting roster, at least in the South, I think was bang on accurate. Did you find you were a little bit of a contrarian, or more or less did your picks for the All-Star game get there?
Oh, no, not everybody that I picked made it. There might have been some what I might call viewing bias. There's some numbers there of some players, but some guys I saw a little more often. For example, we haven't seen Toronto yet.
Good point. That one in play, right to the shortstop, Brandon Luther. My goodness, what extension there by Ethan Mann. He's doing it on offense. Really good job there to extend. Bateman, unfortunately, sat down on the first pitch he sees, grounds it out to the shortstop.
What an interesting technique used by Brandon Luther there. He is an elite defensive shortstop, make no mistake, but he plays the ball on the backhand between his legs, which is a real rarity. Kind of stabs at it. He's got such a nice set of hands, he can get away with such things. I certainly couldn't when I was playing, that's for sure. I had to use the old school mechanics to get my glove down ground level and get the ball out in front of me, but that was a hard hit ball.
There's another hard hit ball. That one to Luther again. That's a ridiculous throw. Oh, my goodness. What a play by Brendan Luther. Are you kidding me? What a throw by number 20, Jacob Cantor. I was just about to say he's on the last man in vote. I think he deserves plenty of votes here to get himself into the All-Star game, and he is a hard guy to beat with a throw. That one was a laser, and again, man had to go full extension to grab that baseball. What a play, Brian.
What an incredible play that was, and I don't barely get the words elite defensive shortstop out of my mouth when he does that.
That one's in on the inside part of the plate for strike one to Carosis.
We've had 2 or 3 really nice defensive plays for a game that is might be
offensively oriented, you could say.
Well, let's just say not in competitive. There have been some really nice defensive plays made. I mean, Bateman made that over-the-shoulder catch there, and Luther's made 2 nice plays going to his right, and some nice plays by first baseman on both sides.
That ball struck again by Carosis out to right center. He's had a good day with the bat, and he comes up just short on the warning track. I thought he was going to go beyond the fence. He has just been exceptional here today, seeing the baseball well. He started out with a good take and opened up both of his at-bats, and he almost found that same spot. He doubled 2 back in the third. Instead, it's a fly out there to the center fielder. And Welland holds their lead through 5 innings, 13-2. The advantage for the Jackfish. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Let's keep an update on that seemingly back and forth game, Toronto and London. You said a moment ago it swung its way back 6-5. That's still your score there at Christie Pitts. I mean, talk about that one, Brian. My goodness, Toronto needs that win very badly, not just to put the win in the stat column as the team 9th in the standings, but we always talk about it. You need to give yourself that confidence. You can truly beat anybody in the league. London's been in unbelievable form lately. That game would mean the world for Toronto to get that win, especially at home with some of their issues winning at Christie Pitts last year.
Well, at the end of the day, Christie Pitts is a little bit like Jack Couch. All bets are off on what's going to happen in that game because pop flies carry out of the ballpark. And so, it's a tough place to play. It really is. I'm not going to lie. It's not my favorite ballpark. Not only is it a short porch, but it is a very hot ballpark. And there's only about 10 feet of foul territory, so that a whole bunch of balls, like if you look at this field here, there is 50 or 60 feet of foul territory where pop flies can get caught, whereas you have about 10 to 12 feet of foul territory at Christie Pitts, which means a lot of balls that should be out are not outs. And so you get second chances, and then you get pitchers who don't want to throw strikes, similar to Couch. They just don't want to throw strikes. They want to nibble on the corners because they know anything they throw down the middle is likely to carry out over the fence. So we have a pitching change here. Axel Rosario in his, I believe, 3rd appearance of the season. It did not go well for him in Kitchener on Friday night, and not because he got hit around, but it was actually a bit of a scary situation where he was throwing the ball all over the place. He hit 2, maybe 3 batters, walked some, didn't last very long. So seemed like he had 2 pitches, the pitches that were all over the place and pitches that were hit. And, of course, Kitchener, for the reputation of Couch, Kitchener has a team that does hit a lot of singles. And so when they were hanging in there, but it was a bit scary because Axel throws real hard. So hopefully he can get these control issues figured out, because when you throw that hard, that's when it's a little bit scary to go up there and hit.
Yeah, the big arm righty, 6'5". Rosario's first pitch misses wide there to Brendan Luther. He's been up to bat 3 times today, hit the same result in all 3. 3 singles, 2 RBIs.
Anthony Porcelado was already up throwing.
1-0. Rosario just misses a little bit high there on Luther for ball 2.
This has been a very restrictive strike zone.
Save for some substitutions, we'll expect to see Luther, Mullen, and Grant this inning. (2-0) drops in to make it 2-1. Nice break on that pitch.
Make no mistake, Axel is good stuff. He throws hard. He's got a good secondary pitch in that slider that he throws. But like I said, he was just all over the place Friday night in Kitchener. Few to the backstop.
Now it misses wide. Nice snatch there by Cass to keep it in front of him. 3-1.
So, conversation that I had with Aiden Armitage, we talked a lot about pitching mechanics, and you could just kind of see it from our vantage point here. Where sometimes he just kind of falls off to the side, sometimes he gets through it, sometimes the arm drags, sometimes he has struggles with the release point, and that was a 5-pitch walk that was not real competitive, so hopefully he's going to be able to bounce back from that.
Well, he's back on first, but not the way he did so in the first 3 attempts. Brendan Luther, the base on balls, puts him there on first. Robert Mullen now up to bat behind him. He had a single as well back in the 5th inning, but just prior, remember that massive blast to left center. Back in the 3rd inning, he's up again.
Reminds me of a shot I saw Raul Gonzalez hit here over that maple tree in left center.
This is wide for ball 1. Luther on first. Got a 2-step lead. We'll see if he goes for the stolen base. Hey, check him at first. With that 2-step lead, he gets back in time. The man from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic is ready to deal. Here's Rosario. Misses wide. Nice catch by Watt. Like you said, Portulato is there warming up. Of course, the former Welland Jackfish just a season ago. Part of that 2025 championship team. As is the entire offense.
And he just threw yesterday too, so I don't know how many pitches he'll be able to throw today. So I know that Brantford Brain Trust really wants Axel Rosario to find the strike zone on a routine basis because he does have the stuff that he can be successful at this level.
2-1. Misses behind Mullen, and the runner will take his place off to second. Luther will advance in the wild pitch.
He just struggles to get consecutive good mechanics to his delivery.
Yeah, the unbelievable raw strength in that right arm is apparent. You feel like you could even get a little bit more out of the velo, even aside from already what's there, and he throws very hard. 3-1. And misses wide. Mullen will take the second free pass of the inning. It's a good thing you don't do O'Brien's Popeyes player of the game for the road team, or else, my goodness, you'd be in for a tough one here today. There are plenty of guys that are just finding productive at-bats every single time they come up. I think Ethan Mann's probably still got the rest of the squad beat, but my goodness.
Ethan Mann's got almost as many hits as the Brantford team altogether.
Here's Logan Grant. That one's fouled back, clips the fencing, and goes away for strike one. Not a huge offensive statistical profile for Grant, at least not in the games he's featured in this year. Not a full-time member of the offense, so of course smaller sample.
Well, it's tough to get too much of a regular job when Robert Mullen's the starting catcher.
Yep. But he's already up 37 points of batting average just today alone, so he can't complain as he lets that one go by on the far side. Single and a double here today for him. Just his second double of the season and his 8th and 9th hits in the 14 games he's appeared in. Now 15 today. And of course, he's got 2 in front of him, looking at 1-1. A little bit too high again. 2-1.
Well, Brantford really needs him to bear down and throw some strikes here. They're on the 4th game in 5 days. The pitching staff has been taxed, and you could tell that just by the fact that Anthony Portulato is throwing, because he threw 27 pitches, I think, last night. And
that one inside, just barely misses Grant, 3-1. So Luther on second, Mullen on first, Logan Grant looking at 3-1 from Axel Rosario. And the man from Calgary, Alberta will take the third walk of the inning. Everybody goes forward. And Brandon Hoope comes up looking at bases loaded.
Well, believe it or not, it is a slight improvement from Friday night where he's only thrown 1 ball to the backstop thus far, and I just, like I say, he just seems to be coming from a different arm angle. His spine angle changes, his plant foot lands. He just really needs to get those mechanics locked in, because without good mechanics, doesn't matter how hard you throw if you have no idea where it's going. And so that's going to bring this game right down to a walk.
So Greg Rapp comes in, has a quick couple words with him. We don't see Anthony Portulato yet in this ball game. Going to let Rosario stay on the mound.
I tell you what, there's runs being scored in every half inning up in Toronto. It's now 7-6 for London again. Alvarado's still pitching in that game.
Wow. They'll give it to him on the far side.
Yeah, a little gift there. Appreciate all donations.
I feel like a couple of the Red Sox arms could have used that a little bit earlier against these righties they've been having trouble with on that far side. Rosario will get it for 0-1 versus Hoope. Hoope doesn't go around on a pitch that misses wide. One apiece.
That's such a nice slider, but guys just lay off that pitch. If they know you can't hit the strike zone, they'll lay off all the junk. You want to get a swing and miss out of that slider pitch, but it's just that you have to throw the fastball for strikes. It's still basic level baseball 101. Throw your fastball for strikes.
Drops in. Another one clips the far side of the zone. So 1-2 is the count to Hoope. He has been on base today. Himself and Justin Gideon, the only two not with a hit today for Welland. They both have been on base. Hoope was hit by a pitch just an inning ago. Now he looks at 1-2.
Yeah, Law hit him with that curveball right on the helmet there.
That one is struck in play to the shortstop. Cantor gets the glove on it. Just barely in time there at second. A bang-bang play goes the way of the defense. Run will come home for Welland, but the first out of the inning will leave just runners on the corners as Hoope brings another runner home. So the fielder's choice for Hoope will make it 14 Welland. One out, top of the sixth inning. And here's Daiki Abe up for his fifth time.
And 3 pitches for strikes in that at bat for Rosario. So here, maybe he's starting to figure it out. Let's see.
That one's right down the middle. You might have a case. Daiki Abe, 3 for 4 today, and now he's down 0-1 early. Nice breaking ball, but it misses the zone wide.
Just missed with that one. Just kind of curled around the plate there.
One. Now it is chopped. Another high bouncer like we've seen plenty of today. The ball in the glove of Cantor. And the throw will go to nobody. It is going to be 15 now for the Jackfish.
Well, that is unfortunate. That was just a ball, again, pounded into the dirt around the plate that goes a mile in the air. They really need to add some more water around the plate here.
Well, the man from Yamagata, Japan, now on first base. Looking behind him, it's Jonah Weisner up for his fifth time. The Jackfish now have 13 runs in pocket. Runners on first and second. Rosario gets the far side. Strike one. Mission British Columbia zone. The lefty now faces 0-1.
Heads up.
Inside on the hands, just misses Weisner. One apiece. Again, he was one of 2 hitters yesterday to go 5 for 6 in Welland. Not often you see 2 guys.
To see 2 guys get 5 hits, that's pretty
hits.
rare.
1-1 here from Rosario. Now it is chopped. Back to the pitcher. Gets it in the glove. Throw to first. Second out of the inning recorded. On the ground out, back to the pitcher.
And kudos to Rosario. Now he's finding the strike zone. He's getting nothing but soft contact here. As I said before, he's got really good stuff. He's just got to throw a lot more strikes, and then he will continue to get that soft contact and have success at this level.
Well, we say it's rare to get 5 hits in a game. Ethan Mann could get that milestone here. 4 hits, 4 RBIs. First pitch misses a little bit wide. James Smybert, one of the gentlemen on the last man into the All-Star Game vote here tonight. Remember, you can vote for that on CBL.ca. He's up on the batter circle. I'll give us wide again. Wild pitch, run will score, and then another base runner will advance on to third. Makes the advantage 16 to Welland. Gonna have to start doing some stat research in the background here. I'm curious the last time a team put up 20 back-to-back games in the CBL. Welland, or at least the Brantford fans hoping Welland doesn't get there today. But the momentum has not slowed down. Here's the 2-0. That one up high, nicely grabbed there by Cass.
Yeah, go Gadget. Catching arm there. Holy mackerel, he got up in a big hurry.
Got to start selling those. He's got so many of those plays. You got to get an arm grabber we sell in the shop with his face on it.
Well, and that was Andrew Savage Friday night trying to catch Rosario. He was all over the box there. He actually almost did a 360 at one point to catch one that was up and outside.
Well, the hitting streak is over for Mann, but only because he'll take the walk onto first base. He's now been on 5 times today. And here is, like I said, a man on the last man in vote. Welland fans, if you want this gentleman playing in Chatham-Kent in just a week's time, in the 2026 All-Star Game, you've still got a chance to vote him in. Brantford fans, Jacob Cantor also on that ballot, so great opportunity to a bit of a fan battle there in that one. And that's in for strike one. Now Justin Gideon warming up. One's in a little bit high. Evens it up 1-1 on Smybert. Runners on both corners here still for Welland, but 2 outs in the inning. Rosario a chance to get out of it. That one is put in play. And a one hop its way down to the left fielder. Another is in for Welland. Smybert, his second single of the day, makes it 17-2 Jackfish. And here comes Greg Rapp for his second time. Rosario's day will be done in favor of Anthony Porchelato. Well, we're going to swap it over. Let's take a quick 60-second break here on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube, CBL TV, and Rogers TV Game of the Week, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back, baseball fans, to Arnold Anderson Stadium in Brantford, Ontario for some Sunday afternoon Canadian Baseball League action. Well, the Welland Jackfish had a great one yesterday at home against Chatham-Kent, 20-4 in that contest. They are on the way to potentially making it 2 in a row at that mark. The Jackfish leads 17-2 here in Brantford. It's now Anthony Porcelato on the mound. That one goes off the end of the bat of Justin Gideon, rolls foul. Porcelato, of course, a former Welland Jackfish and himself, a fellow namesake of the Porcelato name, Mateo Porcelato. An unbelievable Jackfish bat in his own right. Justin Gideon looks at 2-1 in front. Runner on first and second as he faces number 19 for the first time today. That one is chopped in play. Right to the first baseman. He'll run it out. And Ortega will finish it off. Porcelato comes in, throws 2 pitches, and he gets them out of the top of the 6th inning. As Justin Gideon on the putout, he will remain one of only 2 here for Welland to not register a hit here in this ball game, but he's still been on twice earlier in the ball game. 17-2 is the advantage for the Jackfish. We get ready for the Red Sox to come back up. It's going to be Ortega, Savage, and Ian Antone. So still some strong bats, but at a certain point, Brian, you just go, hey, you know, what's there to play for? And as for the overall team perspective, are we really able to get this one back? Maybe the best thing to do, worry about your own numbers, because nobody remembers, oh, we were down, didn't matter, the stakes weren't there, that's why I grounded out, or that's why I didn't get a hit. If you're an individual player, no reason to take your foot off the gas here the rest of the way.
Time to empty the bench. For starters, get some guys some playing time. If it's all possible, to maybe find somebody who could finish the game behind the plate to give Cassidy Watt a break. And, maybe pray for rain.
It's very possible. We've been looking at a pretty overcast day. I was wondering if we were going to see it, and at this point, I think think of that Chatham-Kent ball game there, Brian, on Canada Day. Like, if that game had once it was 8-7, Brantford's coming back. If that had got called due to rain, you're like, there's more on the table, right? This result probably should have gone the other way if it gets called. This one, I think even a couple of the Red Sox guys are like, all right, let's regroup. Let's get set for next week. We put some good baseball out there. We played quite well against Kitchener in both the loss and the win. Let's maybe set up for the rest of the way to the All-Star break and post-All-Star break. Everything seems to change in the CBL.
Yeah, it's you're going to need some rest for the guys. It's been a busy time. Like I said, 4 games in 5 days. They've got tomorrow off. I think they practice on Tuesday. And their next game, I think, is Thursday night in Kitchener. So they'll be happy to have 3 days off, especially the pitchers. Another game up in Couch.
Unfortunately for the pitchers.
Well, they'll need a rest, and so you know what though,
what is struck out to left. One hops down. Chris Ortega is on with a single to shallow left. He opens it up a little more promising in the bottom of the 2nd inning. He's on for the first time today.
Just another update from Toronto. London's scored again, and it's 8-6 for London now in the bottom of the 7th there.
Well, a win here for Welland, and if Toronto is able to come back and get one over there on the London, that would be a huge aid in the Welland's Jackfish's charge back up to the top of the standing. Still got to overcome Barrie and a very hot Guelph Royals side, but we're taking that one first. That one a little bit high up there on Andrew Savage, who singled his last time up. Feels like an eternity to go back in the 4th.
Well, let's look ahead, shall we? To Thursday in Kitchener. That's another big game at Couch. The 2 games at Couch between Brantford and Kitchener combined for 70 runs. And
my goodness.
The biggest takeaway I had from Friday night, though, was the fact that we talk about Couch this and Couch that, but at the end of the day, Kitchener banged 18 without the benefit of a single home run.
Good point. Yeah. Yeah, just consistency. That's
they were so the Brantford pitchers were so concerned about throwing pitches down the middle. They missed and walked 11 hitters and hit 4 more. And so, Axel Rosario was part of that. And Colby Klepner, who has been a fantastic pitcher for this team all season long, had a rough go of it as well. Didn't get, he got out of the third, but just barely. He probably could have used a break earlier than that. But having said that,
so a strike brings it back to 3-1. Canoni has that one set by Savage out to right center. Should get down. How far will it go? It'll one-hop its way to the fencing. Nicely into the glove of the right fielder. The throw back in from Hoope. Not in time to get the runner. Savage is back to his old ways. He's going to be the all-star starting catcher for a reason. And now he's got his second hit of the day. A little bit of life coming out of the Brantford bats here. And Nick Iadantone, one of two lefties to take advantage potentially of really maybe the only weakness here today for Quinones. Wouldn't Iadantone love to have another big shot like the one he had on Wednesday? Just to at least get the crowd woken back up and get the optimism back in this Brantford side, because they've made some ridiculous comebacks in the past. I believe we have an 11-run. Last year, we had what probably would have been more. I think that game on Wednesday, obviously, you got to stop hitting runs because you win the ball game. But I think if they'd kept going, Brantford could have put even more on the board on Wednesday. So anything's possible. Iadantone puts that one to the first baseman. First baseman will run it out, but a run will come home as Chris Ortega becomes the third base runner to score here for Brantford. The score now 17-3.
well, they got it down to 2 converted touchdowns, and you got to start somewhere, I suppose. Still a runner in scoring position, and Kuzemka already has a double in this game, also grounded into a double play in the 4th inning, I believe.
That's correct, yeah. He is ready to go with Cassidy one up behind. Runner now on third after Ortega scored. Just misses that one with the end of the bat. Strike one.
Yeah, at this point, I'd like to see Cassidy hit and then maybe take the rest of the day off. He caught all day yesterday as well.
I believe Brandon Sekulovic is here and active. Kind of the tertiary catcher for this team. He could, of course, bring Savage in as well. That one's off the glove and wild. Runner will come home on a wild pitch. You don't see many of those for Quinones, and you did there. Make this 17-4 for Brantford. A little bit of life creeping back here into the scoreboard. Out. That one caught the glove. A little bit of frustration there for Grant as it just missed the tip of the leather. Found its way back towards the fencing.
Well, I got to say, something that's very interesting here, just for a logistical standpoint, Greg Rapp warming up in the bullpen, and he will probably see some action. They won't go too long with Porcelato after he threw yesterday. Who's going to come out and make the change? Is he going to come out and announce his own change? Is he? I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work.
Get him a mic. Do it over the microphone. That'd be cool. 2-1. Swings and misses past that one to make it 2 apiece. The count is even. Speaking of even, Toronto's tied it there in Christie Pitts, 8-8.
What a barn burner they got going on in Toronto.
Talk about an upset. Could be brewing over there.
Jordan Mandalay with a 2-run homer to tie it up.
2-2, and it's past the infield. The run of form continues. Christian Kuzemka's on for the second time today. A nice little day for himself as well. A couple of these Red Sox bats starting to get themselves in good form despite the score. And Kuzemka becomes the third hit of the inning for the Red Sox. Well, here's Cass, 1 for 2 today. He singled his last time up. Quinones wants to get his way through 6 innings. First, he's got to get through 2 more outs. And for ball 1.
The bullpen is active for Welland. Give us a moment here. We'll get this figured out who's throwing. Looks like Daniel Howitt.
Yep, we saw him last time here.
We did, yep. Left-hander.
I believe he was the final arm to pitch in the 8-6 loss. Win for Brantford, loss for Welland, I should say. 1-1. Kuzemka on first. That one is struck. Well out to right field. Under it is Houpe, takes a couple steps to his right, records the out. Just barely missed the tip of the barrel, but a well-struck ball by Cassidy Watt is caught by Brandon Houpe. So here's Walker Holgren, the lefty. Trying not to be the last bat of the bottom six. He's got Kazemka on first. A new bat is behind him. That one is put in play. Up over the head of man, and it rolls. Takes a weird rotation off and into the glove of Houpe now in right field. That's going to give an extra bag to Kazemka. What a weird chopped baseball that spun its way to the right just past first base. It's going to put Holgren on. So here is Charlie Towers, welcoming him to Brantford after a long time stint with the Kitchener Panthers.
So he kind of fisted that one a little bit.
That one is sent back behind him. This is the first game we've seen Charlie Towers here in Brantford. 5 years in the Canadian Baseball League. Man from Toronto, Ontario. He's formerly played for Hamilton, Toronto, Kitchener. And now he's here in Brantford looking at one on the corner on each side. That one catches the far side.
He got into pinch run on Friday night in Kitchener, although I don't think he got an at-bat.
"25 years of age, the man from Toronto. That one misses wide.
Just acquired from the Panthers in the last week or so.
That one set up back and foul. Yeah, he was signed by Brantford on June 30th after being released by Kitchener on June 26th. I believe he was the roster spot that Kitchener swapped for Nick Hoyt a few days later.
Don't think it was working out real well for Charlie and Kitchener, so sometimes it's just a good idea to go try it out somewhere else.
Also acquired to Brantford from Kitchener, Elian Serrata, a reliever we still have yet to see here. That one is chopped, but just foul. Serrata, one of many going to be on this roster from Santo Domingo here in Brantford. Usually wears 30. He'll have to swap jerseys when he makes his debut here in Brantford, as Axel Rosario, who we saw earlier, wears that number. And the upset's still on. Toronto now leads 9-8 at Christie Pitts. That one is struck well. Towers puts it through the infield. First at bat, first RBI wearing the red and blue. What a strike by Charlie Towers. There was a heck of a swing.
Watch out now.
Shortstop number 9, Jacob Cantor.
You know, it's funny. I thought I saw Lucas Bateman out there coaching third base, and so that explains Charlie Towers' presence.
Some excitement in the YouTube chat there for Mr. Towers, who makes this ballgame 17-5.
Already a fan favorite.
Here is Jacob Cantor, speaking of fan favorite. They'll give him a ball that broke very wide. 0-1. That one is struck by Cantor. That one's fair as well. Rolls its way out to the left field fence. He's got a chance at 2. He will come around for 2. They'll send the runner on third. Here he comes, Charlie Towers. Scores just a few moments after the RBI. This ballgame is alive, ladies and gentlemen. Now 17-7 here in Brantford.
Yeah, and Brian Essery's coming out any second now.
He has to be. Quinones is starting to blow up here late. 6 innings, now 7 runs allowed. My goodness. They've figured him out the third time through the order. So Jacob Cantor in front of his mom, Lisa, who traveled here today from Philadelphia. That whole family always very supportive of the broadcast. I had the chance to meet her today, luckily, and my goodness, her son's had a good day for himself despite some of the early offensive struggles. Quinones out of the ballgame. A swipe bag for Cantor, one of many on the season for him, and Jacob is on second now as he brings home Charlie Towers. Yeah, talk about a first appearance at the plate. You come home, you well run out a ball there, a double. You score on it from first. Charlie Towers, welcome to Brantford.
How to make friends and influence people. Hey, just
That's
making
right,
a great first impression, and gets a base hit, an RBI, and a run scored. And just a nice start there. And, you know, the first thing that I notice is how well Charlie runs. This is not a team that is loaded with rabbits.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking situationally, I put my manager hat on, and I'm thinking to myself, there's a guy that could become a late inning pinch runner. And when the games start to become a little bit more important, you get in a tight game. We talked about it the other day with on Canada Day when Ortega got on, and he was the tying run at first base, and that might have been a good time for a guy like Charlie Towers to show up and
it's a great point.
Come out and pinch run and just get that extra speed out in the lineup.
You make a great point, because all those guys with that very high-end base running ability, they're all fielders. They're all everyday defenders, on this team, which, yeah, you make a great point. The guys in rotation you have, like, Kazemka's strong, but obviously, you know, one of the bigger bounders on the team. He's a utility guy, not the fastest. Corosas can be quick at times, but he's not that prototypical pinch runner style. And then guys like
Andrew
Martinez.
Savage, you know what I mean?
Right?
Guys like that. And guys that
that's a good point.
Guys that aren't, you know, they're not lumbering or by any stretch of the imagination, but Charlie Towers runs really, really well. And he could be used down the road as a possibility to maybe score from second on a base hit or something like that.
Well, we talked about Welland had batted around 3 times here today. Brantford is going to do it for their first time here in this ball game. AJ Corosas is going to be the last man up to hit in this inning, and then if he can keep it going, if he can get past a 2-out situation, Chris Ortega would then come back up after singling earlier in this inning. There you see the numbers for Danny Howitt now on the mound for Welland. 18 2/3 innings pitched. ERA just a tick under 6.5. Good ratio though. Strikeouts 11, walks 6, and in the CBL, 6 1/4 ERA will get you a lot further than it will otherwise. He's 1-0 on the year.
Well, he's a pitch to contact guy. We saw him last time they were here when Brantford beat them, and the interesting thing here is that it's you have to assume that Esri used him specifically now because of Corosas being up, but now you've got Ortega and Savage coming up on deck, who are right-handed hitters. So if Corosas, who is swinging the bat really well today,
he's doing it again. Broken bat, but the ball comes down. Runner around third.
Don't trip
Here he comes to score. Jacob Cantor's home. Make it 17-8. The gap is back under 10 runs here in Brantford. Welland fans, I hope you're not trying to beat traffic. This ball game has a while yet to go.
Well, it's strange, isn't it? If you all of a sudden wake up and go, Brantford's down by 9, you think they're getting blown out, but because of the situation, suddenly down by 9, it's like a basketball game, right? You're down by a bunch, just try and get it down to single digits before the half. And really, we're only in the 6th inning here.
So Corosas will score Cantor. That one has a little bit of arm side movement, so Ortega doesn't swing, looks at 0-1. There were 6 hits for Brantford through the first 5 innings. There have been 7 in this inning alone. A 1. Boom, that one's out to left field. Might get down shallow. It will. Play is made. Heartbreakingly comes up just a little bit short there for Chris Ortega. Ball that didn't quite track its way out to the fence, but Brantford is alive, ladies and gentlemen. The Red Sox put up a bunch in this inning. The hit's now 19-12. The ball game score now 17-8. We're going to take a quick look at the All-Star game, then a 90-second break here in Brantford. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. We got a live ball game on Brantford Red Sox CBL Baseball. Wherever you're watching us, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires.
Get ready, Chatham Kents. For the first time ever in the new Canadian Baseball League era, the 2026 All-Star Showdown is landing at Fergie Jenkins Field on the July 11th and 12th weekend. The league's top talent all in one place. Watch the full slate of skills competitions, including the popular Home Run Derby on Saturday, and on Sunday, the ultimate 2026 CBL All-Star Game featuring your favorite players for a mid-season showdown. Chatham Kents, it's our time. The All-Star Weekend of the new CBL era. It's history in the making.
welcome back, baseball fans, to Arnold Anderson Stadium in lovely Brantford, Ontario, for some Sunday afternoon baseball. It's the Welland Jackfish that continue to lead this ball game big, 17, but now 8 for the Brantford Red Sox. They closed that lead by 6 just an inning ago. There's the score. Out of town's only one around the league until the rest of the ball games start here later tonight. It is 9-8 Toronto Maple Leafs. That is a ball game. Talk about what that would mean for that whole clubhouse on Toronto's side in London. Again, any loss at this point in the season, how competitive it's been at the sharp end of the standings. Welland Jackfish fans want to see a London loss there.
Well, you would think everybody outside of London would be hoping for a London loss there because of how tight the standings are. And
so here is Brendan Luther up for his 4th time today. Has not had an out recorded against him. 3 hits and a walk. As he now faces Porcelato. Porcelato low off the dirt. Not into the glove of Watt. Rolls behind him to the fence. 1 apiece. As both sides batted around the order in the 6th inning. That was a marathon of a 6th. We're now in the top of the 7th.
yeah, that was about a 45-minute inning.
We talk about your luck and your success. You call ball games on play-by-play, we win. Specifically when it's you and I. We get some long ball games here in Brantford, as that one's in for strike 2.
True that.
This ball game started at 2. I don't think I've ever been home before 7 o'clock. Just how we like it, though. More baseball, more value. 1-2. That one struck right back to the shortstop. Cantor, nice job waiting it forward on the roll. He gets it to Ortega in time. Jacob Cantor, we're glad to have back at shortstop for plays just like that.
And there is a real rarity that Brantford gets the first man out of the inning.
That's a great call.
That might be only the 2nd time all day.
Yeah, I believe they did it back in the 4th. You're right. Other than that, that's a great call. Here's Porcelato. First one drops in for strike 1 against Robert Mullen. Has had a good day in his own right. 2 for 3. 2-run shot to left field and a walk.
And a sacrifice fly. So technically 2 for 2.
That's a good point. 0-1. This is a little bit wide. Ball 1. So Logan Grant looks to still be the man warming up there behind. That should be Brandon Hoope in the 9.
And manager Greg Rapp warming up in the bullpen.
That one is back off the foul pole. We've never actually got a definitive answer, really, have we, of who is doing the bench coaching when Rapp is warming up in the bullpen. It's not actually something I've ever thought about, but
well, the boss, the owner, Terry Smith, he is away on business this week.
1-2. That one misses, bounces off the dirt, into the glove of Cass.
Just a little bit quick there. Anthony Porcelato had a good inning yesterday and has thrown well thus far today. And like so many other pitchers, the key for him is finding that strike zone. There have been far too many walks tonight again, and the ability to throw strikes certainly helps.
That one up in the air. Is it playable? Should be. Cass throws the mask. Also coming over is Corrosis. He'll be the one to make the snag. The third baseman will record the 2nd out of the inning.
Great read there by A.J. Corrosis, who comes storming in from his position and ran a good 80, 90 feet to get to that pop-up. Clearly, Cassidy Watt didn't pick it up right away, and it went straight up and went to the third base side. And just a great read, as I mentioned, by Corrosis to get in there and make that catch in support of his catcher.
What a great option he is on defense. True utility man to put in anywhere, and the big couple of swings today as well. On offense is that one. Speaking of big swings, is up over into right field. Playing back will be the second baseman. It's actually going to be Holmgren who makes the grab. Nobody knew who was taking it, but somebody did. Anthony Porcelato, another quick couple of outs. as the Red Sox keep the scoreboard where it is, and the offense hopes to keep that train rolling from just a half inning ago here, Brian. 17-8 leads Welland, but I don't know, feels a lot more attainable than it did an inning ago, I'll tell you that.
Well, you know, 7th inning stretch, still 3 at-bats, and that is now the 4th time in the last 3 games that the Brantford offense have scored 5 or more in an inning. And Danny Howard is a guy that they've seen before, and they know they can hit. They've got both their lefties coming up in the next 4 hitters, I believe. So we shall see what we shall see, and the fact that it all starts with a leadoff hitter. You got Savage, Einentone, and Kuzemka. Then 2 of the first 5 hitters being Hultgren.
Well, don't forget, Danny Howitt, the man back on the mound here for the bottom of the 7th. He's a former Brantford Red Sox in his own right. Pitched a couple seasons here back in 22-23.
He's
Actually,
from Brantford, isn't he?
He is, the hometown boy, yeah. Of course, a champion with Welland a season ago. But yeah, he pitched here for 3 wins back in the 2023 season. The ledger on the stat keeping shows he appeared in 2 games, but won 3. You explain that to me, but some of the older stats I think still getting brought over. He's always been a good pitcher, though. Has always been effective in his innings. You talk about that game here, though, in Brantford, where it really blew up on him. Through 3 2/3 innings was pretty effective. 4 hits in that contest, 3 strikeouts was strong. But it was the game here at home that things really started to break down for him. So we'll see what Howitt's got as he returns and tries to shut down Quinonez's troubles. Really, he came in, he looked fine. It was effective. Pitch placement was pretty strong. He seemed to still have that good understanding of the zone Quinonez used most of the day. But you're just a little bit worried if you're Brian Essery and that entire dugout here for Welland. You don't want to see what you saw in the 6th inning happen again. Here's Andrew Savage.
Well, the nice thing about their game yesterday is that they weren't forced to use any high leverage guys. So if Brantford were to bang off, 4 or 5 or 6 more runs to get this thing within earshot, they've still got a full complement down there in their bullpen.
So that one's on the inside.
In fact, one guy that Brantford fans would recognize, and I think I see him stretching out there, is De Los Santos.
That one is up over our heads. Foul, 1-2. Yeah, Pedro De Los Santos, probably De Los Santos, I think, most successful pitcher in terms of statistical production here last year for the team. He was awesome, and we were really happy to see him get to take the trip off to Welland and have a chance at a championship that he brought home for that side. One of many great pitchers from last year's team to come back this year. He was always a great personality as well. Great veteran here, and
yep, absolutely.
Really made a lot of good change, I think, especially for the starters and those big, even the relievers that have taken a big step up here to become starters in 26. That one low and in the dirt. So a full count now. Andrew Savage looking at. Really big spot here if he wants to keep it rolling after the 6 runs that were scored in the 6th inning. That one is struck. Ooh. Very hard, but very foul. At least keeps it alive here, though. Nick Einentone on deck. Then we expect to see Kuzemka up behind him as well. That one up in the air. That one should be playable for the defense. Shallow, though. The left fielder. Abe gets under it. Makes the grab to record the first out. Savage, if that one came down, he would have been back above 400 batting average for the season. Unfortunately, just drops in for the first out.
Yeah, just got under that. He hit that previous pitch so hard, but well located on the 3-2 pitch.
So here's the lefty, the man from Naperville, Illinois, Nick Einentone. In for strike 1. This man, the number 18, ranked high school player in the state of Illinois the year he came out. Was very effective collegiate ball player. That one drops low. Nice take there by Nick.
He's been a great addition to this ball club. Such a good batter.
Unbelievable discipline. Such a patient presence at the plate. 1-1. That one high. Very high.
Missed that one.
Yes, he did. It's going to come down to the second baseman, although Weisner almost lost his footing waiting for that one. Second
Wow.
out.
He hit that right off the sweet spot, but just missed it by a quarter inch. Otherwise, that ball was long gone.
So here is Christian Kazemka up for his fourth time today. He's got a single, he's got a double. Did ground out into a double play back in the fourth inning, but he's looked effective today, and he watches one go low there. Ball one versus Danny Howitt. Howitt deals. That one off the bat, rolls itself foul.
Yeah, off-speed number there.
Just a little bit ahead of that one, evens the count at 1. The man formerly wearing 26, now wearing 45 for the Red Sox.
I think that we talked about this the other day. I think he's got a different number for his white jersey than he does for his red.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. Got rotating his number per jersey.
I don't think it was intentional. I think the one color or the other that just don't have two of. Maybe both, you would think. I could almost figure that one out myself.
2-1. That one is struck very well, and it's going to get down in the outfield. Into right center, rolling all the way to the fence. Here he comes, Kazemka. Thought he might try to leg it out to third, put himself a homer shy of the cycle. Instead, he checks up at second. Nice hit, second double of the day for number 45/26.
He's stepping right to the forefront of trying to get the player of the game today, isn't he?
He is indeed. He hits better wearing 45. I think we should order the white in that number for him.
Agreed.
All right, Cassidy Watt, the next one up. He's got a single on his day today, 1 for 3 coming into the 7th. Yeah, Brian's Popeyes player of the game. We're getting close. Kazemka's put himself in a pretty strong place for it. First batter in Brantford's side to get to 3 hits in the game. Oh, and just off the tip of the bat on Cassidy Watt. I think he wanted that one.
Another knob job there. That's that off-speed pitch is really doing a number on the right-handed hitters. He uses it. He uses it so well. I think that's 3 swinging foul balls that have gone the other way right off the knob of the bat.
That one struck. Out into shallow center, ranging forward is Giddy, and he won't get there. Runner around. Kazemka comes home, just beats the throw into Logan Grant, and Cassidy Watt makes this an 8-run gap, 17-9. Now leads Welland.
The center fielder, number 3,
So Cass having a good day for himself as well, aside from even just what he's done blocking the baseball. We said earlier, saved a couple runs here in this one. He's now on first. Here is Walker Holgren. Just the one hit on the day here for Holgren. One of only 2 lefties in this lineup. That was good against Quinones for Howitt. Might be what he wants to see. Drops it in, gets a piece, fouls it off into the left field area.
Well, I tell you what, if you're looking for positive takeaways, one of the things that you can really take away from these last couple innings is that now 5 2-out RBI hits.
Drops in, frustration for Holgren, frustration from the crowd. There's been a lot of that this weekend here at Arnold Anderson. 0-2, 2 outs. Holgren calls time. He needs a sack. He's getting chirped out a little bit from the Welland dugout. Bit of a discourse, bit of a dialogue taking place. Only good things, I'm sure.
The umpire needs to shut that down, chirping the batter from the bench.
0-2. Drops low, drops wide. Unbelievable flexibility. You mentioned it before, the one-leg stance. Logan Grant gets so low to catch the baseball on that side.
The kickstand, if you want to call it. That's what Tony Pena used to call it, one of my favorite catchers growing up with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Now it is struck. Should be fair. It'll get down in left field. The Red Sox are getting it going. Cassidy Watt all the way to third. He'll get the stop sign. Just checks up. Close play at second, and they got him. Holgren gets caught out on the throw at second, and the Red Sox faithful do not like the call either way. 17-9 will be the score through 7 innings. Heartbreakingly up short is Holmgren on a very well-hit ball. Cass did a great job to get to third in time. Unfortunately, a very close play goes the way of the Welland defense.
Well, there's a lot of chirping going on here. They were chirping him that he was arguing the call, and then Holmgren got the hit and then turned and said something to the bench, and I think that's the reason he got thrown out at second base is because he took a minute to say something to the Welland bench when he had that hit. But the umpire should be shutting that down. There's some serious chirping going on here toward that player while he's up at bat, and he just chose to ignore it. So it's a bit of a frustrating situation there.
Well, let's get the former umpire's perspective. We'll put the umpire hat back on you here because when you're in that situation, I'm sure you've been in some contentious ball games where you start to feel the tension, you feel both sides. What do you do? Because you got to stick to your usual stuff. You got yourself have to be clear-headed, right? Because you have to just be making the objective call, getting your eyes where they need to be. What's the most difficult thing as an umpire when games start to get chippy like this?
Everything is situational. And so if I've got a 10-9 ball game, you know what I mean? If I've got a one-run ball game, then I'm going to allow some of that emotion to breathe through. But when you've got an 8 or a 9-run differential and you're getting chirping from the bench toward the other team's player, that's only going to end ugly. Right. Okay? At some point in time, one of the pitchers is going to come out and he's going to do something about the chirping going on. The thing that's annoying to the players on the field is that the chirping is coming from the guys that don't play.
Yeah.
And so nobody on the field wants to hear from that guy who plays 6 innings a month. You know what I mean? And so that's where the umpire's got to come out. Just pull off the mask and say, guys, you don't have to make a big celebrated case about it.
Sure.
Just, guys, that's enough. Pipe down. The last thing we need is escalation here, and we're going to start having trouble if we're not careful. Listen, these teams play each other 6 times, and I know that Welland was upset about the fact that they lost to Brantford last time they were here, and so it's not surprising to see a motivated Welland team come in and want to win this game. But at the end of the day, like I said, when the guys that never play are on there chirping a guy who's playing every day, that's when you end up having trouble because those guys have there's no ramification. There's no blowback for the guys on the bench because they're not going to get hit by a pitch. They're not going to get spiked. They're not going to get run over at a base. We're not going to have a situation like we had, was it Thursday or Friday night in Toronto? When Hernandez from Barrie went in and bowled over the third baseman. Those are guys that can answer their own issues with their own play, but the guys on the bench that never play, there's really no need for the umpire to allow that kind of chirping going on.
Well, pitching coaches often, I think, around baseball, when a game gets a little bit out of hand, they wish they could just go, I want to go out there and do it myself. I want to get this done. Well, Greg Rapp is one of the few gentlemen in baseball that can actually do that. He's now the man on the mound for Brantford. He looks at that one that gets spiked into the third base fencing, goes foul for 2-2.
But again, the thing that really kind of bit Holmgren in the rear end there is the fact that he got thrown out by an eyelash. If indeed he did get thrown out, it was a bang play at second. But if he didn't take any time to, he could have got into second safely and then stood up and then decided what he was going to say to the bench at the time. But I watched him as soon as he hit the ball and he lined it into left field there, and he wasn't 3 steps out of the box before he started yelling something at the bench back to them. So
always want the last word.
Well, that's the thing, is that it turned out, though, that it was Welland that got the last word.
3-2. That one is put in play. It's going to go to the third baseman, Carosis. Hard throw, not in time.
Wow.
Hoope, good job to leg it out. He is on for his first time today. Means, unfortunately for him, Justin Gideon going to be the last Welland Jackfish hitter without a hit. That's the second time second time he's been on today. Did have an RBI on a sacrifice back in the 6th.
Just another rabbit playing for Welland, able to, and it may sound like a broken record here, but just another case of a ball pounded into the dirt that goes a mile in the air. They really, really need to water the surrounding area of the plate on this infield.
That one drops in low of the zone for ball 1 here against Daikiabe, up for his 6th time today.
And that's been going both ways. I count 6 at least balls that were pounded to the dirt around to the plate, and guys got on base because of it.
Abe was 376 coming into this ball game. He's now hitting 398 live right now. One more hit, he's up over 400. 2-0, Hoope on first. Nice strike in there for Rapp, 2-1.
Looks like Jonah Weisner's taking the rest of the day off.
That one up a little bit too high for ball 3. You're absolutely right. Carson Johnson. Carl Junction Zone will be the next one up. That one is struck very hard out to left center. It will get down. It'll just miss the fence. Rolls its way all the way into the signage in left. Runner comes around third. He'll be in time for the first time in a couple innings. Welland adds another. Make it 18 runs for the Jackfish. Off the double by Abe. That is his 5th hit of the day. He's now 5 for 6. And here comes Carson Johnson to sub for Jonah Weisner.
And what a nice piece of hitting there by Abe, who took a pitch that was down and in and inside outed it into the gap all the way to the fence, man. What a great hitter that guy is.
Carson Johnson often goes by CJ. First pitch is struck. Just barely foul. So Abe on second. One of his rare ball games this season without a steal. He tried back in the first inning. Got swiped by Watt. Now it is struck foul now the other way for 0-2. Do got an arm warming up there in the Brantford bullpen.
I think that's Jorge De La Cruz. He warmed up briefly yesterday, but was not in uniform. He's been a little bit rough physically. Needed some time off.
He warmed up. Am I incorrect in saying he warmed up Canada Day as well? Didn't come in that ball game either. It's happened a couple times. Ball game I was here for recently as well. I want another ball put foul. Carson Johnson. CJ's come in the game. He's put 4 off into the parking lot.
I'd like to see him get in. It's been some time since he threw, but it should be noted that he's throwing, but the catcher that he's throwing to is not got equipment on. And he's not in a squat position. He's standing up. So right now he's just playing catch. We'll see if he actually gets hot.
Swings and misses. Greg Rapp. First K of the day. Sits down CJ Johnson. First out of the inning. Strikeout swinging. Ethan Mann is now up, and what a day. 4 RBIs. One of them a home run. 4 for 4, pardon me. A walk also on his day.
Yeah, his attempt number 2 to get himself a 5-hit day, which is a pretty significant accomplishment for any ball player at any level.
First one misses low for ball 1. James Smybert now the man on deck. Don't forget, you can vote him in, Welland fans. Last man into the All-Star game. He's on that ballot for the South alongside Brantford's Jacob Cantor. Voting expires tonight. Now it is chopped in play. It's going to be gloved by the third baseman, Carosis. Another tough play, and he can't quite get it there in time.
Oh, man.
Ethan Mann, 4th single of the ball game. He's got 5 hits, 4 singles, and the home run today. What a day for Ethan Mann, playing in the All-Star game and doing so for very good reason. Next up, James Smybert. 1 out in the inning. He's looking at a runner on each corner. That one is struck out to center. Should be playable for Holmgren, who's under it. He'll make the glove. Rabbit hops, throw is into Watt, not quite in time. Just a couple steps short. Abe will score the 19th run for Welland, now 1 short of back-to-back 20-run games.
And here you have Justin Gideon.
The only hitter here for Welland today with no hits. Though he has been on.
He's been on base twice, scored 2 runs, but he's 0 for 4 with a walk. And has been disgusted with himself each of the last 2 at-bats.
First pitch is wide to Gideon. So man on first. Bases are empty now otherwise. Up and inside on the hands. Gideon takes it for ball 2. He wants a hit. I got to think he's going to be swinging no matter what he sees.
100%. He, like I say, he's been very, very demonstrative after his last 2 at-bats.
Out and up. Oh, back and over our heads. Really cool anecdote there in the chat we're seeing. Game back in the 90s, Brantford at Hamilton, 32-20.
I'm guessing Ann was there. She sees almost every game in this league, so.
That one misses wide for ball 3. Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, you're leaving football game territory into basketball game score territory when you get to 32-20. That's ridiculous. And Noah Freeze, 3-2. He was ready. Looked like a statue for a couple seconds there. Justin Gideon still got to finish this one off, and you got to think Greg Rapp. Wouldn't he love to finish it off with a strike, not only to end the inning, but just given the context of how this at-bat has gone.
Absolutely, and so it wouldn't surprise me if he comes with the curveball here at 3-2.
Will Gideon sit on it's the question. Inside, it hits him. He absolutely whips the bat at the dugout.
Well, there's your walk.
So Greg Rapp will welcome up Brendan Luther. 3 for 5 on his day. Pardon me, 3 for 4 with a walk. There's so many walks in here. It's throwing off my stat keeping. Looking behind, Robert Mullen. Robert Mullen is still the man on deck. He's today's DH. I thought he might be a potential spot. They sub 4. Looks like he will still hit. Drops in for strike 1. That was shot back foul. Luther sends it into the fencing. It's a good question there in the chat by Chris Fortier. I don't believe the CBL formally tracks hit by pitches as a team stat. I'm going to do a quick check for you because I would love to know myself. Drops in. Wide for ball 1 on a pitch that eerily similar to one he got a strike on a moment ago. Let me go look. I found the stat. They do track it team-wide. You're absolutely right there, Chris Fortier. The Jackfish do. That one's off the bat, off the mask of the ump. And I found the list. Yes, indeed, they do lead 40 hit-by pitches for Welland. That is, I believe, coming into this ball game. It's going to go up there with that last one.
There's 2, I think, today.
Pardon me, yeah. So 42 now.
Hoope got hit by a pitch.
And then that last one to Gideon. So, yes, 42 for Welland. Who's the team in second place? Wouldn't you know it, Brian? The Brantford Red Sox sitting at 32. That one is struck. Will be fair. Will get down into left field. That will be 20 for Welland. Around comes the runner. 20-9 in the Jackfish. For the first time in 2026 in the Canadian Baseball League, the teams put up 20 in back-to-back games. So here is Robert Mullen up for the 6th time today as today's designated hitter, Aiden Armitage. Now out of the dugout here to come talk to Greg Rapp because, of course, Greg cannot mound visit himself. would create a paradox. Getting confirmation here, my director says no, not possible.
Well, it's a good opportunity to go out. It's been a fairly lengthy inning for Greg. When you start getting up in around the 30 pitch range, it's time to go out and visit your pitcher and give him just a little breather.
So if you want to talk about, Welland as a team, as a composition, 2 home runs there today, the big one for Mann, the big one for Robert Mullen, but they will still leave this ball game last in the league in home runs as an offense.
Well, that's not who they are, really. They're
Right.
a singles, doubles team. They're a slap team. They're a hit-and-run team. They're a small ball team. They don't hit a lot of home runs, not to mention the fact that their ballpark is not the easiest in the league to hit a ball out of. So if you've got a ballpark like Welland, why would you load up with home run hitters? That just seems a little counterproductive. So line yourself up with players. But, I mean, I guess the difference.
I would put it just foul. Pass to the glove of Corrosis, 0-2, 1 pitch away from out of the inning.
When you look at the composition of the Welland Jackfish, you have to kind of look past that a little bit. Jonah Weisner is one of my favorite players in this league. And, yeah, he's a high average slap hitter. And, yeah, he steals bases. But he's also probably the best defensive second baseman in this league. And so when you look at him and Luther and what's normally Gio Morello, out in center field today is Justin Gideon, and Robert Muller behind the plate. Defense up the middle is the one thing that hasn't changed about this game over the decades. Defense up the middle is super important.
Ball chopped to the shortstop. Cantor to glove it. Cantor to throw it. It gets out of the glove. Towers can't make the play at second on defense. Misses it on a throw just a little bit wide, which means Mullen will be safe at first. We are back to bases loaded.
That's unfortunate there. It was a bit of a slow roller, and Cantor had to hurry his throw to second. A little bit of a sidearm sling job there, and pulled Charlie Towers off the base.
Yeah, so to confirm, 42 hit by pitches now, including today, the total. Brantford sitting at 32, second in the league. Then Kitchener third at 30. There are a number of teams at the bottom all tied at 15, so I mean, that almost tells you something as well there, Brian. I know, you can get some statistical variance, but 42 hit by pitches for Welland, 15 for 3 teams in the league. Some of that's approach as well. Some of that's how a lot of your hitters approach the plate. A lot of how you control, especially the inside, kind of how you loom over the zone. You can have a little bit of variance, but that feels like a lot.
The other thing, too, is that they are, I believe, leading the league in runs scored. And
by quite a large margin. Yep.
So they have more at bats, and so a simple quantity will help take you up there. They also have, and I have to be very careful how I put this. They have a lot more games. It seems like that are not competitive games, not close. So sometimes guys get hit when you've got lower leverage pitchers in late in the game. And now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting they're throwing at him. I'm suggesting that you've got lower leverage guys coming in late in games, and they sometimes are not as accurate as the high leverage guys. So we're going to see fan favorite Pedro de los Santos coming in for the bottom of the 8th here.
Yes, indeed. Something to look forward to here for the Brantford
we
fans.
miss that beard, don't we? I love Pedro's beard, man. That's a full.
Big strikeout there from Greg Rapp just a moment ago to count off the end of the top of the 8th inning. Yeah, you talk about you make the at-bats point. I mean, Barry's the one that stands out to me. Just to wrap up the hit-by-pitch thought, they were one of the teams tied for last with 15. They're only, coming into today, only 4 less at-bats than Welland. So it's, every team's a little bit different in that regard. And I talked about it actually with Tim Holick on his episode of Red Sox Report, how much of it is an intentional approach. It's something his dad always said he taught him. Don't leave any room to work with. If your stance, if the way you like to swing naturally keeps you closer to the plate, really tighten that up, really sync it up, because if you're willing to stand in there and take some, a free walk, especially for a guy like him, that being on base is a lot of his offering as a player, is often what you build a lineup around, is knowing, hey, great chance Timmy's going to be on base. If a hit by pitch can be part of your personal repertoire, Why not lean it a little bit further if it doesn't interrupt your usual swing?
Well, I'm thinking of two batters for the Brantford standpoint. I'm thinking of two batters specifically, Jacob Cantor and Andrew Savage, both the ones who crowd the plate. And how many times have we seen Jacob Cantor, who I have no doubt is leading this team in hit by pitch for Brantford? I could be wrong saying that, but I doubt that I am. But he's got that elbow pad. And the one thing that has changed over the years is the padding. And so, every time we got hit by a pitch late in the game, it hurt. At any point in the game, pardon me. Anytime we got hit, it hurt. But these guys have pads on their shins. They have pads on their elbows. They have pads on the back of their batting gloves now. And so, and they should. You know what I mean? When the guys are pumping it in there 90 or higher, you can only imagine. Look at Brody Black, got hit in the finger today by a pitch.
He's been out.
And he was out after the second inning, and that is a major piece of this Brantford team. So the only upside to the timing is that they've got 3 days off before they're in Kitchener. Hopefully Brody will heal up before then. So Savage, the same thing. You can see Savage, he has kind of an open stance, but that back foot is right in tight. And so you're going to see in just a second here Jacob Cantor and how close he stands. His elbow, I mean, some guys get so close their hands are actually over top of the plate. And I saw that a lot of times as an umpire, and that made it really tough as a home plate umpire. When you got a guy that's crowding the plate like that, you kind of want to get a look in between the hip of the batter and the mask of the catcher. Did he say he swung there?
They just said Charlie Towers went around. 2-2 is the count, and Charlie Towers' second at bat for the Brantford Red Sox. RBI single 2 innings ago. He was a little bit shell-shocked by the call on that one, so were some of the fans. Either way, it's 2-2.
Threw me right off my train of thought there, to be honest.
That one is struck very well, but very high. Should be playable if it can stay fair. It does get down. The right fielder, Hoope, will get under it, but that one for a moment looked like it might come down due to miscommunication.
Well, that was interesting to me, the fact that Johnson in for Wisner went at it, and all of a sudden I thought, you know what, he's overrunning that ball, but that was because Hoope had called him off, so no harm, no foul.
So Jacob Cantor's back up for his 5th time today. 2 for 4 with a stolen base, single and a double. De Los Santos. Quick pitch so fast, the music was still playing. It comes down to C.J. Johnson, who can't get it in the glove. Another one that is Ethan Mann. He just kind of oversteps it by a few feet. Mann can't get it clean in the leather. 0-1.
Just overran it there, yeah. Sometimes you are faster than you think you are, and of course Ethan Mann runs very well. And then once you go past it, boy, it's a pretty empty feeling.
That one just wide of the zone there for ball 1. De Los Santos, you saw a few moments ago his ledger. He's 24 1/3 innings coming into today. Had plenty last year. That one is struck by Cantor very well to left, although straight into the glove of the left fielder. Barely had to step half a pace to his left. Heartbreak there for Cantor on a very well-struck baseball. So here's A.J. Carosis back up for his 4th time since he came in to sub for Brody Black. He's been effective as well, Brian. A single, a double, and an RBI on his day. Did fly out deep to center. The only time he didn't find pay dirt. Drops in for strike 1.
Yeah, the subs that have come in this game have done pretty well. AJ's got 2 hits in 3 trips. And, of course, Charlie Towers had a big single RBI and scored a run as well.
Nearly got on base for another one there in that weird high hit ball into right field just a moment ago. 0-2. Out struck, chopped, line straight to the glove of Luther. What a day he's had there. It's short heartbreak. Carosis strikes the ball very well, but it's straight in the glove.
So is Jorge De La Cruz going to come in and throw in this inning? I can't imagine Greg Rapp coming out for another inning. They pretty much need to make this change.
No, there he comes. He's taking the trip around the fencing out at the Brantford bullpen. It is going to be Jorge De La Cruz when we return after a quick look at the All-Star break and a 60-second pause. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere on Brantford Red Sox CBL Baseball presented by Mr. Lube and Tires.
Get ready, Chatham-Kents. For the first time ever in the new Canadian Baseball League era, the 2026 All-Star Showdown is landing at Fergie Jenkins Field on the July 11th and 12th weekend. The league's top talent, all in one place. Watch the full slate of skills competitions, including the popular Home Run Derby on Saturday, and on Sunday, the ultimate 2026 CBL All-Star Game featuring your favorite players for a mid-season showdown. Chatham-Kents, it's our time. The All-Star Weekend of the new...
And welcome back. One more inning left to play here in Brantford as the Welland Jackfish lead 20-9 in a big road effort and their second 20-run ball game in consecutive days. Here's Jorge De La Cruz, now the man on the mound, one of our favorites, one of the best closers in the league. Unfortunately today, not a chance to close the ball game with his team up, but you saw there ERA under 2 in a big sample size, 15 strikeouts, 3 walks. The Welland hitters may have had their success for the day done now that he's on the mound.
Well, you got to think they're tired by now, to be honest. I mean, Abe is coming up for, I believe, his 7th at bat. Is that right?
I believe you're right. That one gets in the dirt there, and a big swing by Hoope, 0-2.
5 hits for Abe.
Yeah, a 6-hit game would just be ridiculous.
Well, and you'll have earned it getting one off of this guy.
Yeah, it'll be Abe and C.J. Johnson. That one drops in for strike 3. Jorge De La Cruz sits down Hoope, the first strikeout of the day against Hoope, and the 5th of the day overall for the Red Sox pitching staff. Strikeout look and welcomes up Abe, who again, we already talked about it. He's already got 5 hits on his day. He's tried to swipe one bag. He got caught stealing doing it. And that's really the only lack of success he's had at any point in this contest. He's been unbelievable, and he's rounded into great form as he gets ready to start for the South in the All-Star game. Going right down Main Street for strike 1.
And for those that are interested, that's a final in Toronto. They beat London 11-8.
Huge result for Toronto.
Kyle Pops gets the win. Florentino with the save.
Abe swings under it so hard his helmet nearly came off. 0-2. Oh, 2, 1 out. Allen gets low. He tried the breaking ball to give Abe something different to look at. Doesn't go around. 1-2.
Jorge has a good live fastball, has a good slider as well. But at that splitter that he throws, he's got these great big hands. And his hands are so big, they kind of almost make it look like a ping pong ball in his hands. And he throws a nasty splitter.
Now it is struck. Just foul. Well hit ball into left field, but it hooks too far left. Great job there by our mobile operator, Sebastian. I want to thank him and our entire volunteer crew. Serena, Brandon, the whole gang. Ryan Kennedy there yesterday, not out here in today's ball game, but they all make this possible, everything we do out here in Brantford. Of course, Brian and myself, really glad we have you joining us. Now it is chopped foul, now the other way. Still 1-2.
Sebastian puts the mobile in mobile camera operator, that's for sure, man. He's all over the place out there.
Abe still alive. Again, his 7th appearance today. No swing and a ball in the dirt. 2 apiece. Also want to give a shout out to, again, all the fans watching at home, not just Brantford, Welland, anybody, wherever you're watching us from. Always plenty to talk about in the chat. Dan always coming in with the great stats, great info for us. Always love having you guys chatting with us there on the YouTube side. If you're watching us on CBL TV, unfortunately you can't see the YouTube chat, but always feel free to go watch the game back after the fact, see what people were discoursing about there on YouTube. But of course, Rogers TV Game of the Week. We do our best to let you guys know what all the chatter's about. Interesting stat there from Dan. We'll chat about in a moment about league ERA. But first, Abe strikes the ball out into right field, ranging back for it, makes the grab. Nice catch out there in right field by Kazemka, who gets underneath it. After he subbed in for Brody Black earlier in the game, he's had a great day, hasn't he, Brian, out there in right?
He sure has. But again, we've talked about him before. He's Mr. Everything to this team. Plays infield, plays outfield, pitches. He's got 2 hits today, I believe. 3, actually. Bit of foreshadowing there, in case you're wondering.
Del Cruz puts that one low and outside. Nicely caught by Watt to go 1-0 against C.J. Johnson, who subbed in for Jonah Weisner earlier in this ball game. That one sent back in the fencing. 1-1. When he gets back to the glove of De La Cruz, just doing the mental math. This is the 55th batter-pitcher matchup for a Welland hitter here today. 2-1. Swings and misses. A big hack there by Johnson. Misses the ball from De La Cruz. He is 1 strike away from about what you prescribed there, Brian. Another exceptional inning late.
Well, like I said, when you get to the All-Star game, after the 7th inning, you take your pick. You're either going to see Mendez or you're going to see this fella right here if you're playing for the North team. Nice pitch right there.
Sits down another one. Called strike 3. De La Cruz gets a round of applause from the Red Sox faithful. My goodness, he is a bright spot of this Brantford bullpen.
Well, speaking of bright, his personality is just that. He is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet as well. With such a very, very nice young man who has worked very hard at learning the language. I had a conversation yesterday before the game with Junior Ibarra and Jorge De La Cruz out in front of the first base dugout. And both of those guys are kind of a similar situation. Junior showed up in 23. Jorge showed up in 24.
Yep.
And yet they both have a really firm command on the English language. I can tell you neither one of them spoke a word of English when they showed up here. But they are fluent, I think is fair to say, a fair word to use in English. And that is not an easy thing. I've been trying to pick up Spanish for several years now. And, I know enough to say hello and ask people how they're doing and maybe get my face slapped. But other than that, I'm not real fluent at it. So it's very difficult to pick up another language. But Jorge and Junior are in the same boat where they just do so much work off the field on not just their game, but their lives in general. And that speaks to the kind of young men that they are.
Very well put, as it's Pedro de los Santos, the man who will likely cap this ball game off for the Welland Jackfish. What a day for the offense. The Brantford Red Sox offense has a chance to put double digits up on the board for themselves as well. Another interesting stat there could be kept. How many ball games that Brantford's been in this year have both teams scored double-digit runs? I'd wager that's probably the most in the league, whatever the tally is.
Well, there have been 2 this week.
2 this, yeah. Very good
they're
point.
in a situation now, Brantford, if they score a run here, that'll be the 3rd time in 4 games this week that they scored double-digit runs. And strangely, they'll be 1-2 in those games.
That's a good point.
They win the 4-3 game. And you know.
They lose the 18-15.
They score 14 Wednesday. They score 15 on Friday. They scored 4 yesterday and 9 thus far. So, you know, that's a lot of runs. And
you've got the offense here in Brantford. There is no doubt about that.
Well, offense is up league-wide, and, you know, we just saw some stats flowing out there on the chat, but I don't think we needed the chat to tell us that. There's been so much going on.
And it's Ortega is going to run it out on first on a chopped ball there to Smybert. Nice base running there by Ortega, getting the wheels going for his second straight single. Now Andrew Savage next up to hit. He's got a single and a double on his day as well. Still Christian Kuzemka, the only one with 3 hits. We got to do Brian's Popeyes player of the game. Let's not spell it out quite too much yet. Is it pretty clear for you who today's player of the game is?
Well, I did mention some foreshadowing earlier when I was talking about a certain player. I'm probably ready to go ahead and do it. He's got another at bat maybe coming up this inning, but to me it's Christian Kuzemka. 3 hits and 4 trips and played multiple defensive positions today and did very well in both.
Savage, that one in on the hands. Did it catch him in the finger?
Oh, I got him in the shin or a foot, somewhere in the lower extremity there. He fouled it off.
He's worried about the same situation as Black, but that one instead goes down instead of up on the hands.
That's the last thing you want to see at this point.
This guy getting injured late.
Yeah, in an 11-run ball game.
So the All-Star starting catcher for the South team, looking at 1-1. That one takes a weird angle off the bat. A little bit late on that one, up over our heads for 1-2.
It's been a busy week, hasn't it? Third home game of the weekend.
1-2. Yeah, oh, that one is struck very well. Out to left, ranging back's the outfielder. Abe. Did he make the catch on that? That is ridiculous. With the fence behind him, goes up, kind of an unorthodox spin around. Andrew Savage just missed a homer, and Abe brings that one back down. What a catch. My goodness.
That one gave him all kinds of trouble, and the one thing that maybe you can't see with the center field camera is that the wind is blowing the opposite way as it has been this week. Blowing more of it's blowing out for sure, but out toward left field. And so the ball is bending over a little bit, so it kind of got Abe turned around, and he jumped there, and he didn't really need to jump, so it was a tough ball to grab, especially with it carrying like that. So, yeah, great play to hang on to it after a bit of an adventure to get to it.
Oh, as that one sent foul. Come on, Brian, you don't end up in the highlight reel by staying on your feet. Got to go up in the air for it.
Yeah, show us your ups, I guess.
It's the old goalie adage joke about how you get out of the way so that you can make the diving, bring it around glove catch. Takes an exceptional talent to make a routine catch look difficult for the sake of, as the kids would say, aura. As the loudest motorcycle, I believe, in human history goes by Brantford here. My goodness. Better had to call time. I ain't in tone because a bike down the street is ripping around.
Take that thing out of first gear, buddy.
As that one is sent by Ian Antone out to left. It will get down in shallow left field. Nick Ian Antone, his second hit of the day. We'll welcome up another man with a pretty solid offensive repertoire. So we'll officially confirm now, Brian's Popeyes player of the game. Here he is, Mr. Christian Kuzemka. What a day for him. The stats on the ledger.
3 for 4, 2 doubles. And the stats don't relate the kind of defensive day that he had.
Oh, true. Very good out there, subbing in right field. Again, was supposed to be today's first baseman. That all flipped around after Brody took the ball off the hand in the first inning. He's been awesome, just holding it down there in right field. Really good first step quickness. That one's inside of the hands. He takes it for ball 2.
So unfortunate that this team has 3 very serviceable first basemen in Ortega, Holick, and Kuzemka.
2-0, runners on 1-2. Drops in, catches the top of the zone at the belt for strike one, pardon me, 2-1. The form Kuzemka's in, we got to order a white 45. I'm telling you, he's looked really exceptional on the days we wear the Reds. 2-1. That one might have broken the bat. Either way, it rolls the way up to second base. Jonah Weisner with the throw to man. And the second out of the inning, as I think for a second man thought the ball game was over. He'll run it out to toss it over to De Los Santos. Still 1 out left to record for the Jackfish.
Yeah, that might have broken another bat there.
As it's going to be, I believe, Lucas Lefebvre up
Boy,
to
we haven't
sub.
seen him in a while, have we? Yeah, it's such a rough start to the season. Like to see him. This is a big at bat for him, getting an opportunity to try and barrel something up here.
Pedro De Los Santos now looking at 0-1. The next out would end the ball game. That one is struck very well. Lefebvre, it'll come down. Brings a run home, might bring 2 home. No, they'll take the stop sign there at third. Welcome back to the lineup, Lucas Lefebvre. He brings Brantford to double digits as well. Now 20-10, the ball game off the bat at number 8.
Well, we do like our round numbers here, don't we? And good, boy, that's a really feel-good story for Lucas Lefebvre. Sure. He really had struggled at the start of this season and trying to get it untracked and get it back, because we know he's a player that can contribute in this league, but we haven't seen him in a few games now, and so it's just really nice to see Lucas get a hit here.
Next up is Walker Holmgren. So he's now got Lefebvre on first. He's got Ian Tone on third. That one is chopped in play, right at Jonah Weisner. That should be the ball game. The throw gets it to man. This one's over. Another high-scoring ball game here for the Brantford Red Sox. They drop this one at home, 20-10 to the Welland Jackfish. What an offensive showcase this was for both sides. Plenty of talented bats here on both of these sides, but today it was the Welland side that just had the go of it from the very beginning. They really opened it up in the early stages. Brantford, though, did a great job keeping them on their toes, keeping the runs, keeping the production up to try to make it at least a competitive one, but that's going to move the Welland Jackfish to 16-9, and it is going to put them up past Hamilton. It is potentially going to put them past Barrie. Barrie still with games in hand, so I believe Welland is going to settle into the third spot in the league. As for the Red Sox, they'll drop to 8-14, still
and
games in hand on the Kitchener Panthers.
London lost today too, right? So
you're right, with the London loss, that is going to put them, just a half game back of both London and Barrie. The fight for the 1 seed is still very much alive, and today showed you why for the Welland Jackfish, Brian. They were exceptional.
I mean, they certainly put their hitting shoes on today. They jumped all over Connor Irvin right away, and they hit just about everybody that Brantford threw out there. They got a little help for some seeing eye stuff, but they played really good defense. Luther at shortstop made a couple of fantastic plays to snuff out a couple of rallies. So, I mean, that's the Welland team that you come to know. This is a bit excessive. Like I say, Connor Irvin didn't really have it today, but at the end of the day, we had, they were hitting the ball all over the ballpark. A couple of home runs, which is a real rarity for them. Like I say, that with Mann and Mullen hitting big shots today. And when you got a guy like Robert Mullen, who nearly won the home run race last season, and he's in your 7-hole, man, that is a nice, long, competitive lineup. And so at the end of the day, they pitched well, they played good defense, they hit well, they ran the bases well. And, you look at a guy like Abe at the top of the lineup, 6 hits today. Mann had 4 hits. Was on base 6 times. Guys that were on base 6 times and just couldn't get him out. And so at the end of the day, I've said many times, people are saying, Welland this and Welland that. Welland is fine. They're pushed because they're seeing more complete lineups than they did in previous years, and so their record won't be as good as last year, but that doesn't mean they won't win first place. It doesn't mean they won't have home field advantage throughout the playoffs like they did last couple of years, 3 years, I think. Then they could certainly, would be my favorite to win the pennant this year. And then come playoff time, all bets are off. But, that is everything that you expect in a Welland team today, and they brought the full Monty. And so Brantford is a much improved team, but they still got a little ways to go as far as depth in their pitching staff. 4 games in 5 days. Connor Irvine, we expect better things out of him moving forward. Same thing with Leandro Mejia.
Yep.
So by the time those 2 guys were done, it was, 12 or 13, and then just kind of takes the edge off the game when you get that kind of a lead. So, better things are going to come for the Brantford team. They've been very competitive. They've got to make sure they win all the games that they play against the non-playoff teams, and they got a couple coming up, starting with Thursday night back at Couch. It's time to get rid of whatever stigma they're carrying at Couch and get a W down there moving forward. But this batting order is ready to rock. They just need the pitchers to keep this count into single digits, and they will have a chance to win every single ball game.
Well, that's going to cap us off here, ladies and gentlemen, on Brantford Red Sox baseball, wherever you're watching us, whether it's YouTube, CBL TV, or Rogers TV Game of the Week. It's been a pleasure, as always. You've heard plenty of our voices. Brian Hawley alongside me did an awesome job holding it down Canada Day. You had the game solo yesterday and back out here today. Always a pleasure calling games alongside you. We'll see you on Friday as we play at home next on Friday at 7:07. Start time here at Arnold Anderson is going to go against the Barrie Bay Cats, a team that's in very good form there as well, that Brantford had a pretty solid go against in their last time. We'll see if Brantford can get a much-needed 9th win on that game at home on Friday. But first, Thursday on the road against Kitchener. You talk about back at Jack Couch. That is the Red Sox' next game. For Welland, well, they're actually the next team to play in the Canadian Baseball League. Tuesday, you're on the road against Guelph at Hastings Stadium. And then you're on the road as well. Right before we play Barrie, you play on the road on Thursday at Athletic Culture. And the next time Welland is back at home, it's not till post-All-Star break. It is going to be a while, I believe, till Welland plays at home. Next game at Welland Stadium is July 16th. You'll be back with Reese and Co. there on your awesome broadcast against Guelph there. For the entire broadcast team, thanks to Brandon, thanks to Serena, and thanks to Sebastian for all the great stuff they do here for the broadcast. For Brian Hawley and Marshall Crocker, we say thank you for joining us on Brantford Red Sox Baseball, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires. We will see you back here at the ballpark in 5 nights' time.
Peace.